LGD's year. They have come so close so many times. Last year had to be painful, and they've also got the retirement story just like Liquid. I mean, they have to be itching for this win more so than any other team in this tournament.
Yeah, and they have also had good results this year. Of course, they came first in the tour for 2 tours in a row. They did well in the regional finals for both of those tours as well. Arlington Major, they came second, you know, losing to T-Spirit in the grand finals. Maybe a little bit painful memories.
You know, the crazy thing is, against Spirit outside of grand finals, they're like 14-3 versus Spirit. But then when it comes to grand finals, they're like 17-9 or something like that. So it's like Team Spirit loses unless it's grand finals, where LGD seems to not be able to just push it a little bit farther.
But you know what? I think LGD has a bit of an edge this year, because I think that loss to Spirit and Arlington really humbled them and taught them a valuable lesson, because up until that point, it really felt like Spirit, it felt like LGD were so confident in the ideas that they have that when they do lose, it kind of shakes them, right? Sometimes they'll get stubborn and pick a hero twice in a row, even when it's not good. And getting that experience losing so early on in the year is going to be even better for TI. I mean, we saw them kind of suck day 1 of group stage and then just bring it back completely. So just being able to recover mentally is a very, very good sign for LGD fans at home.
Yeah, one thing to keep in mind as well is that for PSG.LGD, they might not have had a lot of experience this year in LAN settings, because there was just no opportunity for them to. But this team is no stranger to playing on LAN, so any kind of stage jitters you can imagine, they don't have them. They have played under the biggest of pressures, of course, in that finals. If they want to do that again, they need to start in this upper bracket and just win a couple of games. Let's see if they can do that with the first one. It's over to game 1.
PSG.LGD versus Team Secret. Game 1.
It's nitty-gritty Dota time. That's right, the draft will shortly be upon us. It's time to talk Dota now. We just came out of a series where we had so many kills. It was so action-packed. Lacoste, are you feeling that this is going to be the style of Dota we're going to see all day, or is it these two teams creating a different style?
I think it's going to be pretty much the same story, where it's going to be heavily lane-focused, a lot of aggression early on. You want to get that first Roshan, keep the advantage, as we've seen in the previous game, where they just like smoke, take the fight near the Roshan, and then go for like an extra objective after that. Makes the game a lot easier. Both of these teams, they know how to play aggressive. They know how to play with the advantage. They also know how to play from behind. So it's just going to be a great Dota, I feel like it.
I do think that this series will go a little bit slower, but I mostly agree with everything that Lacoste said. I do think that main stage meta shifts a little bit compared to group stage, though, where you can see a lot of fighting, a lot of heroes becoming popular, but when you're actually on that stage and the nerves are hitting you, you do tend to go for comfort and potentially more textbook type of plays. So I do expect LGD to not take any risks when it comes to this game 1.
All right, well, here we are. We got a first phase ban. Chen, respect on Puppy there, who I believe has just broken a record during the group stages with the hero-player combination of Chen.
She has.
Yeah, it's maddening how many games he's played on that hero. And Marcy on the side of bans. And it's, okay, PSG.LGD is like, Puppy, you know what? None of that, please.
Yeah, those are Enigma still in the pool. That's the big hero, I think, both of these teams are looking at.
It's going to be a no-brainer.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's Secret Silencer. Like,
you got a Silencer.
He has to.
Otherwise, you're going to get Silencer Enigma'd.
Yes.
And then that's a really tough combo.
I remember one game from the group stage where Puppy played Silencer and he did go for 2 knockdowns. Like, he's really,
of course,
has a game chance.
Yeah.
Like, he tends to break the game with his builds as well. Extremely greedy position 5 player, but he does make it work.
So an interesting thing that Thunder did versus Enigma in the first phase was just try to counter it with a gyro pick, and it worked out so well for them. They didn't have a silencer, they didn't have some niche jump on him hero. They just went for a carry that could outlane him and then outfight him on his timings.
Sniper works too for a similar, well, you don't have to stop the black hole, you just keep him from outside of the black hole radius.
But, I mean, in a way, Nyx is pretty cool for that, too, early on. Before Enigma gets his BKB, you can just turn on your Carapace and walk into the black hole and just have an easy way to cancel it.
This feels like an age-old combo between these two. Like the Nyx and Leshrac. If you just have a list of all the things that Leshrac wants and that he doesn't do. Nyx Assassin provides that, and if you look at the list of the things that Nyx wants and that Leshrac does all of that. It's like, if you hero to scout, you take towers. Nyx doesn't want to sit in lanes and farm creeps. Leshrac consumes all the creeps on the map. They pair perfectly.
But not just that, Nyx is a hero that does like to play around the mid lane as a position 4, right? He wants to secure runes. He needs a hero that can do the kind of damage that he doesn't offer. And Leshrac is one of the best heroes where you have a roaming 4. Because if you make a really good rotation around that 5-minute siege creep or that 10-minute one, that's just an easy tower and easy access into the enemy's map. So I do like this Nyx a lot.
Yeah, it's also a flexible pick for Team Secret, this Leshrac, because it has been played on the off lane as well. And like these 2 heroes with double stuns, you're always going to have a kill potential. And being able to kill Pango even with the Diabolic Edict, something that Pango doesn't really like to play into, is he gets on top of Leshrac. Usually if there's no BKB piercing ability, like you might get a fake picture of how much damage you're taking from this Leshrac. Like you connect onto a hero, and while Edict is running, you might just die.
And speaking of heroes that went untouched, the SF still in the pool.
Yeah.
I do think that's something that Secret could be looking at, and even potentially LGD. This is just such a high value pick, and the fact that it made it through the first phase entirely is really interesting to me. It just shows how much these teams have prepared for each other and value individual and niche picks more so than the popular ones.
I do wonder, like, speaking of popular picks, like, were they watching that series and they have a different picture of SF now? It's like, if we pick this, it looks like Thunder has figured it out. If we pick it, is, you know, LGD or Secret, will they take that, the counter into their draft after watching that? Like,
also, looking at the bans, they did ban Lifestealer, which is a bit of a unusual ban in the second stage. And something that you mentioned, like Gyrocopter, he does work well against the Enigma and the Eidolons. So if they're looking for Gyro, now this Lifestealer ban does make sense.
10 seconds remaining.
I'm really feeling the sniper for Secret. It's like, I mean, there are more heroes that LGD could pick where it becomes kind of like you have to punish it with the sniper because they have so many heroes that just like don't get on top of him. But already against these 2 heroes, I don't feel like Pango's really that great. He's not like a traditional backline jumper. Yep. Like, yeah, he can get on the backline, but you can peep him and kill him through his role. Right? It's not like a Storm Spirit who actually assassinates the backline. He just disrupts them. I don't think Sniper really cares that much, but we'll see. We'll see.
The thing about Sniper, though, is the Sniper player on Secret has always been Nisha. I don't think I've seen Crystals play it once, and unless they're flexing this Leshrac to carry Entity style or offlane Baseca style, which I also haven't seen Secret do.
They
offlane Lesh.
Yeah, they offlane Lesh.
He goes the same build, too, as the mid Lesh, just Rush Bloodstone.
So then I think you're onto something potentially if they flex this Lesh to offlane. I also think TA is a hero that you can look at versus both Enigma and Pango.
Yeah, so far, Team Secret has played Sniper 3 times, all in the hands of Nisha, all wins as well. That being said, I mean, they won a lot during the group stage, so I'm not sure how much that is because...
Oh, yeah, I totally forgot that even got through. That's insane.
Of course.
That actually made it through the second phase of bans.
Yeah.
Great against Pango, too, because, you know, when he's going in with the role, it's like, you know, that's when LGD wants to commit with everything else. So even barring the black hole, it's still a, you know, good, decent silencer game.
Also still in the pool, the SF that we've talked about.
Yeah,
I wonder
true.
if it's something LGD is going to pick up here or just give it away to Secret in the next phase.
It does synergize nicely with all the minus armor from Pango, SF, Eidolon deal more damage. Now it's going to be Tusk.
Team Secrets.
That's a bit of a backline jump for a sniper or an SF. Like, I feel like you're less inclined to pick it unless you just think that it's really overpowered.
So I actually expected them to just secure their safe lane in this phase on the side of LGD, but they're just gonna leave it for last. They go for the Dazzle and the Tusk. I think Tusk is a really good hero for annoying the Silencer early on, right? Silencer is a good hero to counter Enigma, but when you have these nuisance type heroes like Tusk and Pango that can just go on him early on and set up for a good black hole, it really makes Enigma's life easier. So I do like this Tusk concept here.
Also in the
Still
laning
like the
stage.
SF.
Yeah, just the shards plus Eidolon's
It's an
Silencer.
easy kill.
Yeah.
Silencer
He's so
does
dead.
love to play aggressive, get the glaives. Probably one of the few players that actually get glaives early on. Like, you know,
'Cause
he
you
wants
steal
to
the
steal
in, you
in.
gotta do it.
I mean, I've seen Silencers go in the group stage 0-4-0.
I can't.
I can't as well,
It's too
but
tempting.
it is
like,
what it
you
is.
gotta get that in.
Also on the PSG.LGD side, double save. You have this Dazzle plus the Snowball, Shield Crash coming out from Pangle. The heroes are going to be pretty difficult to kill.
Yeah. Also, the issue that LGD are a little bit concerned about right now is just this Lush plus Nyx potential offlane duo, right? You can't really put a carry in there that's just going to get kicked out of the lane at minute 5. And if you do, it has to be a flash farming style of carry like Sven, which is maybe something that LGD don't want to do in this game.
It's still a flex pick because both like Resolution and Crystallis did play Dawnbreaker with the last rack. So for now, Team Secret just keeping their options open. They do not want to reveal where their heroes are going to go.
But this
10
makes it so
seconds
annoying for
remaining.
LGD, right? They don't understand if they have to counterplay the slash from their safe
5
lane or
seconds
counterplay
remaining.
it from the mid lane.
I feel like LGD
Team
doesn't
Secrets
actually feel that much
turn to
pressure on them to
ban.
counter anything right now, just because Secret has no backline jump. You have a Dazzle in this game who's going to be saving, and Tusk, not really a backliner, but it's save, and then Enigma too.
Yeah, but you do have like Nyx Assassin to scout things out, Dawnbreaker with the ulti, followed by Silencer ulti. So that's
Yeah.
It's like
it's
a
pretty
gank,
simple.
but-
Yeah, it's a gank. It's like simple to execute Dota, I would say, from Team Secret,
Yeah.
where like
5
Nyx
seconds
Assassin just
remaining.
scouts things out, global silence, you isolate the target and kill it until they get some like defensive
PSG.LGD's
items, some
turn to
force staff,
ban.
something to dispel this global with.
And not just that, when the Lush gets his Blink Dagger, it just becomes so much easier to take these chaotic fights on the side of Secret. So I don't think backline jump is that much of a concern. If they can get a good start on Secret, they can itemize for it and just count on their draft to do the rest.
Yeah, people are going Blink Flesh. It's like
Yeah.
Bloodstone Blink, Bloodstone BKB Blink.
5 seconds.
It does
remaining.
eventually turn into that, especially with the Nihilism. If there's some backline right clicker, it can be pretty nice to make it so that they can't right click anyone.
So I haven't actually been able to catch a lot of Secrets games during the group stage, but I think it's so interesting how Resolution has just evolved his hero pool so often, right?
Team
I did catch,
Secrets
I think,
turn
one
to ban.
offlane Mirana game
He
that
did play that, yeah.
that I thought was really interesting, but just the fact that offlane Lush has become a staple for him when previously he was just known as being that Dawnbreaker guy
Yeah.
makes me have a lot of faith in this iteration of Secret to not be in a situation where they can get easily outdrafted.
Yeah. And I don't think, yeah, PSG.LGD, they are, of course, as we heard from Tsunami earlier today, the team that has the most heroes picked, the most
5
diversity.
seconds
So
remaining.
they're going to be pretty comfortable as well in that draft.
Looking for two heroes for PSG.LGD, Luna / Terrorblade. I think these two would fit because you are ranged in the laning stage. For TB, it's like half-half, but then again, you have very strong group up, and Lashrak does not like to play
No, he doesn't.
those heroes, especially Terrorblade. Like when you think about it, like you may
PSG.LGD's
think, oh,
turn to pick.
Lashrak gets on top of him, but he gets dismantled by TB.
There's also still SF. Like, this hero is still in the pool. And I do think it synergizes really nicely with the rest of LGD's heroes. It also can go into the jungle and flash farm, but TB can do the same for this team.
I remember
10
one game when they
seconds
played
remaining.
Dazzle plus Naga Siren. It's very deadly, and also it's a good
5
way to
seconds remaining.
like just split up because you do build into Manta Style as your first item. You can dispel the global silence with that, and then like reset the fight for your own team with the song.
The thing with Naga though is I feel like, you.
But you're playing against Lesh.
You're playing
so
into
it's a bit
Lesh,
like-
yeah. Like people always think like, oh, Lesh counters TB because of the illusions. TB's not a real
Secrets
illusion
turn
hero.
to pick.
Lone Druid, okay. Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing to deal with the bear out of all of these heroes on Secret, and I feel like that's kind of the situation in which you like to pick Lone Druid right now is just when there's just
seconds
nothing to
remaining.
deal with it, and it's all of a sudden it's like now there's this thing that has to be answered by Secret in this next
5
pick.
seconds remaining.
Yeah, the thing with Lone Druid is early on, if you don't have a good way to stop the Lone Druid's push once it gets the Malcolm Madison Dessa, you just end up losing so much on the map. And yeah, I think Secret's lineup can kill the bear quite easily once they get some items up on the Lush and the Dawnbreaker, but before then, you're looking at this Enigma Wraith Pack timing, this Lone Druid hitting just a couple of items and like giving up too much on the map.
That is a off-lane silencer, by the way.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's time. It's time to bring it out.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Also, Crystal Maiden last pick.
Yeah.
You saw Crystal
We
Maiden
saw it
being
first
banned in the first phase.
Yeah, I love it.
This hero got a lot of love.
So the Frostbite's going to be really value against the Lone Druid Bear, which we talked about, which is probably why they were looking at it. Also, just the freezing field as a means to fight early on is pretty cool. Like, we talked about how important it is for the silencer to get gone on first. So if disables are used on trying to kill the silencer, your support CM can actually do a lot for you if there's nothing to cancel her freezing field. So I think it's interesting, but I do like LGD's draft more.
So do I. Yeah, so do
I just think that this Lone Druid can do so much, and they got this Enigma. This Enigma's just been the hero of the last 2 or 3 tournaments. It just seems so broken.
It does.
It just makes it so easy to group up and play for the objectives that you want. And I really don't feel like Secret are going to stop LGD's timing.
Maybe I'm too focused on lanes, but I feel like if you're Silencer against Lone Druid Dazzle, you're pretty sad. Like, that is a tough
It
lane.
sounds very difficult to play this lane. It really does.
It really does. All right. Well, it could be that we are missing something completely. Who knows how this first game is going to play itself out? We're going to find out together with Sunspan and Synderen.
Thank you, Sheever. Sunspan here with Synderen. Upper bracket stop looking at me. TI11 Secret versus PSG.LGD. This is. That's my voice. All right, that distracted me a bit. We are in game though. This is going to be. I mean, this is a hype matchup. Second seed Secret, unfortunately for them, have to face off against PSG.LGD, who many feel are the favorites going into this tournament, but they ended up third in their group, Cinder.
Yeah, they had a little bit of a slow start. I think LGD's day one was one of the weaker ones they've had in quite a while, but they picked up a lot of steam throughout the groups, and that, you know, that's kind of what you want. You want to go into the bracket with in top form, and I think there's a lot of good things to be said about how LGD have developed throughout this tournament. So very curious to see this. Like you said, Secret definitely. Is it fair to call them an underdog in this? You probably always call teams underdogs against LGD, right? Just historically speaking.
Especially you, yeah.
I always think LGD is going to win until they don't. But
well, you were telling me they've been top 3 at 5 TIs. Is that right? That is kind of insane. Obviously, different rosters for a lot of those, but regardless.
Yeah, they've played every TI since TI2.
Yeah.
And they've got 5 top 3s, but they've never won. I think they've got 2 or 3 second places. Out of those top 3s, all right. Let's see.
Going to see some early action for the bounty. Zayat ends up netting himself that, but Resolution's going to take a little bit of damage here, which of course we are going to talk about Resolution a bit here, not just because he's awesome, Sinner, but he's playing a silencer, position 3.
Well, I thought it was because he's playing your voice line. Okay.
I did tell him to do that, and he's been a very good boy so far. Thank you, Roman.
Yeah, silencer off lane, very unusual here from Secret. It is something that I think Puppy's teams historically have been really good at, or how to say, it's kind of hit or miss sometimes, but he's not afraid of doing uncharacteristic and creative approaches to laning stages to try to solve problems. I'm kind of with the panel though when they say, I don't think Silencer fares well against Lone Druid Dazzle. I think this is going to be a tough task for Resolution to do a lot with. He's playing with a support core in the Nyx who doesn't have the most laning impact compared to say something like a Marcy. So I think they might have their work cut out for them down here in lane. A little bit of a trade-off here between Nisha and Nothing to Say. I just wanted to wrap up the thing we talked about with LGD's TI attendances, right? Because something that's funny about Secret as well is that they've placed like every position at TI, more or less, in the last 6 years. The only ones that have eluded this roster, I think, are actually second and first place. Last year they got third, the year before they got fourth, and I think they had a fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. You know,
right.
More or less gone up one placement per year. So is this the year that Secret reaches the final?
I mean, as you know, I did pick these two teams to end up in the finals, which may be a little awkward since they are facing off so early in the upper bracket, but
that doesn't rule it out.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Secret, I think I've locked them in for second place. It's just how it's going to happen. Obviously, Puppy knows more than everybody. But yeah, PSG.LGD obviously very strong, but the groups, not as, I mean, they bled a little bit, Cinder. What do you think that is attributed to? Do you think they've been playing so much over the past, like all these tournaments coming up into TI, maybe a lot of research has been done against them? Or is a lot of it like Secret and teams like Liquid that have really gotten this ball rolling because of the last chance qualifiers?
Yeah, I think in part certain other teams have really raised their level in the last month and kind of caught up to an extent. But I also think aside from that, LGD have been very creative in their strategies. I think when you play this many different heroes and this many different strategies, some are going to miss. Unless you think back to something like Wings at TI6, where they were just so much better than a lot of other teams that they could run almost any heroes they wanted and just win on raw skill. the competitive field now is just so much closer. So I think if you do run a lot of different strategies, you're not going to hit it every single time. And also, like we said, just a little bit of a slow start in day one, right? I think after day one, they more or less dropped, I think, 1 or 2 games in total.
That's
so
fair. That's fair.
They just had to warm up a little bit, perhaps.
And the mid lane right now, Nisha sitting on 15 and 1 CS. As we can see a little action top lane, Faith Beyond taking the brunt of the damage here. Chrysalis still with the Starbreaker, will fully connect, and that looks like first blood goes the way of Secret in this game number 1.
This is just such a good carry against Enigma in lane. So what generally does well... Oh, this is gonna, I hope we're not going to hear this every time they get a kill. I listened to you enough already.
Sorry about that.
Why did you have to make that one?
Had to try to compete with Slack, you know.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah. Split Earth does connect from Nisha. Nothing to say, in a bit of trouble. Gets off his shield crash, pops the Fairy Fire, will survive. But you can see the CS, I mean, it's pretty even overall. Would you say that this is kind of expected, Lesh versus Pango?
Yeah, I think it is ultimately slightly Leshrac favored because you have that range advantage and you're just going to spam out the harass. A lot of what what ends up happening in this lane, I think, comes down to whether you can ensure that you get the 4-minute water rune on Pango. He might not even get the chance here. Nisha going down. Okay, that was a little bit too crazy. But he's really trying to bully NTS out of lane here and ensure that he gets the water runes. If there is a rotation coming in now from Puppey, which I think there will be, who's, by the way, in classic Puppey style, jungling minute 3 on his Crystal Maiden.
Yep.
For value, obviously, Dawnbreaker, one of the best carries in lane against Enigma, so doesn't need too much help. He can kill the Eidolons on his own with his 2 spells. And PSG.LGD will be the ones to ensure both water runes. Actually, a bit surprising that Puppey didn't come down here at all to try to help Nisha out, because I think now the mid lane is more or less going to equalize with the resources that Nothing to Say is going to have coming in now.
There is still a bounty rune for Nisha to pick up right now as well, and it did cost them a little bit of rotation. I mean, they're rotating in to help him out, but I mean, like you said, frostbiting those creeps in the jungle. Yummy, yummy for Mr. Puppey.
Yep. Closing in on level 3. Probably going to see him skill the Arcane Aura. I'm curious about his build. Puppey, I think, is one of the Crystal Maiden players historically that's been the happiest about maxing out Aura just to try to dominate the side lanes by giving them that extra influx of mana. As there will be the level 3 point, pretty standard to go 1-1-1. It's going to be telling what he does from here on out, because I think there's also a lot of good things to be said about especially the Crystal Nova in this game. It's a good spell against the Lone Druid. It's a reliable, strong slow. It's good against the Tusk. You know, you want to slow them down so they can't stay on top of targets with Tank Team. But maybe he still rates the Aura higher. All right, gonna see a little bit of a poke down here on bottom.
Yeah, Poison Touch slowing a resolution to a Crawley because the Zayat is coming, but it's going to be too late. So first kill for PSG.LGD so far in this game.
I'm actually impressed with how much farm Rezo has here. I think having 21 and 7 here is pretty respectable given the laning matchup that he has.
It is a silencer off lane.
It's silencer.
Very odd.
It's very... I think odd is a good word to describe it. We'll return now here to the lane. I think... So I don't think silencer off lane is not viable and can't be run. Obviously, I mean, Secret are on something, right? They have an idea with this, but I do think Nyx is perhaps a little bit too much on the greedy side in terms of laning presence. Like, let's say you're playing with Clockwork or you're playing with Marcy or something. I think there's more potential to stand your ground and fight and hold the lane. But what's Zayat's going to do for you? He has 1 Impale, and the Lone Druid is just going to run your silencer, and you have to yield every single time. But the good news for Secret is the other 2 lanes are going great. They get there, obviously, the core Dawnbreaker, as expected, doing great against the Enigma in the top lane. And as we alluded to, Nisha still doing just fine in that mid. Both level 6s now picked up in the mid lane. Wonder if we're going to see a potential rotation. I mean, both Crystal Maiden and Nyx have plays against Pango. You have the Frostbite, and you have the 2 stuns on Nyx to set up the Lesh. With that level 6 Pulse Nova could be a potential play.
I don't know what the stats are now, but last I heard, Crystal Maiden win rate was approaching 70% with actually a respectable amount of games played.
Yep.
Why do you think that is?
So I haven't looked too much in detail exactly at which teams play it.
65.9.
That is a very high win rate. I think part of it is what teams elect to pick it, right? I think Secret have been running it in multiple games, and they have a great win rate. So obviously that's going to inflate it a little bit. But I also just think CM in general has received some meaningful buffs lately. I think Crystal Nova is a very powerful spell when you get the right talents. And maybe also a little bit about the pacing of the game, right? And teams maybe have a slightly better understanding of what to pair it with as well. You know, in the past, one of Maiden's problems has been getting run over in lane, but you put it with Dawnbreaker carry, You know, you're
True.
probably not too worried about being beaten in lane. Then you go in transition, and something that your hero can do that a lot of fives can't is actually you scale incredibly well with few items, right? If you get a BKB on this hero, if you get some sort of utility,
Nice snowball. Ends up getting out of the range of the Starbreaker, but it matters not because Puppey is here to play as well. So 1 kill for Secret as why? Approach the tier 1 tower will be fine. Resolution in the meantime. He's going to lose. Nothing to say, actually died to Zayats.
Yep, so that was that mid-rotation coming in from the Nyx and getting full value out of the 202 build. Very standard for Nyx to not get mana burn until later in the game. And what you do offer then is that if you connect that first stun on Pango, he can't really reset, right? You just stand in his path and, oh well, he can try to, he needs to be a little bit careful about how he jumps with Swashbuckle essentially, and you can maybe catch him with Carapace as he does that to hit the creep wave. Use that as a setup for a secondary stun, and then Leshrac with the third stun.
Oh, but Snowball in onto the mid lane. Nisha already at half HP. And here comes Nothing to Say with the Rolling Thunder, but a big Solar Guardian coming in as well as Crystal is trying to focus down Jin Q. They'll be successful eventually. And Nothing to Say has to roll away. So rotations from both sides ends up netting Secret the kill on the Tusk.
This is something Secret's lineup has in spades, actually. They don't necessarily have the best setup. You only really have the Nyx that's going to initiate moves, but you have so much counter-engage. You have the Dawn ult, you have Global Silence, you have Spike Carapace. If the enemy team is the one making a move on you, and you have your spells ready, you got to be very wary as LGD about how you initiate moves. And yeah, that was a nice punish there. It will, at the very least for LGD, it will give Faith Beyond level 6 and a little bit of space in that top lane. He's happy to finally have a little bit of space away from this Dawn.
Secret find Ame. Zayats gets off the Impale, but see the ult coming out from the Lone Druid as Nisha's here with the Pulse Nova. Y gets up a nice poison touch. Nice blocks coming out from Zayats, but the Grave comes out as well. It's Nothing to Say is coming to try to help out his comrade, but oh, he actually does TP out just barely enough HP, and Nisha and company have to hightail away, but Nisha gets blocked in by the Ice Shards. Splitters only hits on one. You see Resolution trying to help him out. He actually dodges the Swashbuckle as Jin Q will be one to fall. And now they're going to turn this around to Nothing to Say as well. So it ends up being a 2-for-1 as Secret looked like they were going to lose out on that engagement, but a nice turnaround and a great voice line from Resolution. Perfect timing.
I love that movement from Nisha in that moment, by the way. It's one of those situations where Pango has an expectation of, okay, Lesh is going to retreat in this angle. Nisha just ran into them, and he took some of the Swashbuckle damage, but Pango couldn't connect afterwards because he jumped across to the other side, expecting Nisha to be running away. And that means they don't have that damage in the tank to finish him off, and he will in turn just kill off, I believe it was the Tusk, and then, you know, Pango finds himself in a very compromised position as well afterwards. Worth noting, by the way, Resolution is not going global yet. He's level 7. He's 4-1-2 build, so I thought we were going to see the Global Silence as a solution to some of this aggressive movement that LGD can make, but doesn't consider it worth it just yet.
Yeah, very interesting. As the runes have been kind of eluding Mr. Nisha for quite a while. He's guessed bottom like 3 times in a row and has not been there, but still, both him and Crystallis are top net worth at the moment for the entire game, but overall the game feel like, in terms of the actual, like, the feel of the game right now, who do you think this favors? Because we have Faith Beyond getting quite a bit of farm now into that triangle.
It's kind of hard to say. I feel like a lot of the time when Secret gets to these super late game situations with Dawnbreaker, it falls a little bit flat a lot of the time when they play it as carry. It has its limitations. The level 25 talent, though, is amazing, but you need to get there and get the 2 Starbreaker chargers. With that said, though, they have come off to a pretty good mid-game situation now where because Enigma's...
Zayats Impale into the Solar Guardian. Ame gets off his ult again. Very tanky boy.
Remotely close to being enough damage when he gets the true form off. And it might cost Crystal this.
Yeah, the snowball is going to connect. You can see the Lone Druid Bear going pretty ham here, but Puppey's there with the slow. And the hammer coming in now into Jin Q with the help of Resolution. So again, Secret getting the better of this engagement despite being the ones falling back initially in this fight.
That was a good time to find that skill up point into Global Silence, preventing the Shallow Grave from coming in with a potential save there onto Q. And yeah, good movements from Secret so far. I think they're doing a really, really good job at connecting heroes. And wow, would you have a look at the CS right now? Nisha, 10 CS per minute. Ooh, he's got 114 to the only 58 of Pango. So again, the big winner on LGD in all of this is Faith Beyond, who gets the space, but he has a lot of ground to cover. If Secret can keep up this pace, we're looking at a potential kind of formidable mid-game where, yeah, you have this Enigma, you have this team fight, but you know you need to work around Global Silence, you know you need to work around Spike Carapace, and even Solar Guardian. So until you get BKB and Enigma, I feel like Black Hole is kind of a pipe dream. You're not really likely to get off. They will get the top tower, though. Rotation now from Ame will connect on the Lone Druid. Get that last hit for his Enigma.
And
Great
Nisha,
Effect maybe is a time for them to try to do something. I think they're just probably end up conceding this tower. Nisha has a haste rune. Nice
yeah,
D-ward there.
D-ward as well. And Nisha, let's see if he waits around for that Diabolic Edict cooldown, but you can see nothing to say in Jin Q in the area. Do you want to talk about the Roche potential from each side? Because I feel like PSG.LGD, they have really good Roche fighting in that area, and Secret not nearly as much.
Yeah, that's fair, and not just the fighting, also killing Roche himself, right?
Yeah,
Secret's
true.
lineup does a pretty poor job at killing Roche. They don't have meaningful physical damage except Dawn, who is rushing a Deso, which will help, but it's going to be a while before Secret likely do that unless they win a big team fight beforehand, because LGD can relatively easily go and contest the area.
Haste.
Oh,
yeah,
nothing to say. He gets stunned right out of the gates. They don't even need the Solar Guardian. There's Nisha, nets the kill with the Split Earth. 4K lead for Secret now.
They are absolutely destroying
Starting to run away with it as you see Puppey's ult come out after the Frostbite, and Zayats is here with another Impale Starbreaker to finish off Jin Q.
You were late on the grave there from Y. Kind of uncommon that he doesn't get that off in time. Yeah, Secret are crushing them right now. Just move after move. That's something that this Radiant lineup struggles with. If Pango is not having a good game, there are ways of initiation. What do you have? You have the Tusk, who can maybe set it up. He just reached level 6. The supports of LGD have been massively under-leveled this game. You're finding both of them finding their 6s at like 13 minutes. Compare that to Secrets, right? Zayat is now level 8, Puppey's level 7 and a bit, so way ahead from these early successful moves. And I think it's just too integral for LGD's lineup that Jin Q was able to do some of these rotations correctly, and it just hasn't been the case. He's 1 and 5, hasn't really connected much, hasn't had the best pairings, so could foresee Secret just keep building on this lead as they will be getting more and more map control. And again, you got to pick your fights very wisely as LGD in this game. It's the amount of counter initiation makes it very, very difficult to really pick your. It's kind of like pick your poison, right? You're not going to get a free fight at any point. I think it's.
Yep, definitely not at this
How long do you
pace.
need to farm? It's tricky.
No, nothing to say. Still working on his Diffusal Blade, and you talked about Chrysalis. Just about to finish his Deso, just needs the last component with the Blightstone. And Nisha, how fast? Oh, he already has Bloodstone. Okay, that was pretty fast.
Yep.
All right, very good.
Very, very farmed. And he's obviously this nice aggressive ward that Secret have on the inside the enemy jungle is going to allow Nisha to play very aggressively down here. It's pretty standard for Dire to do this when they do get the bottom tier 1 tower, is to start occupying this area. And Leshrac is just such an amazing hero for this. He's a difficult kill. He has the counter initiations. He has the counter initiations that we've talked about, and he can almost solo this tower in 2 rounds of Edict. So he is going to force rotation from PSG.LGD to come down here, and they really don't want to play on the defense, right? Like, LGD's lineup is kind of crafted to hit a timing right now and go and force your towers. So if you're the one setting the agenda, you're already really happy.
Looking to tank the gank. Oh, the Global Silence is giving him some cover, and the Solar Guardian coming in as well. Jin Q is just punished right off the bat. Beautiful play from Secret as they just shut that smoke gank down immediately. And Zayat's looking for more.
Oh, this could be big. They don't have
a Solar Guardian though, yeah.
Dropped everything. Still trying.
Gets off the Vendetta first. Actually gets the Impale as well. Chrysalis is here with the huge Starbreaker, and down goes Ame. And Secret starting to really run away with this.
You're going to have a word with resolution after this game. This is getting out of
I'm going to have to give him some more money, I think. Yeah, he's doing a great job. Yeah. Speaking of resolution, he has the Falcon Blade into Force Staff. He's going to see a Starbreaker again come out. Faith Beyond caught out. His own side here. Zayat stuck inside the Ice Shards. Nothing to say. He's going to be blocked off by said Ice Shards. And the Force Staff that we just talked about from resolution coming into play already. 7K lead for Secret. Things are looking very good for them. And again, I mean, if you have a big enough lead, then taking Roche isn't that hard, considering like you just get a pick off or 2 and then you can just take it. But I feel like that is the best opportunity for LG to get back into this game.
Yeah, I think ideally what they want to do is once Global Silence and the Donald have come out, you want to smoke and make your own move, right? Because that's one moment in time where you can initiate something without the fear of just getting immediately globally countered. But they're not managing to do that right now. They have about 30 seconds to go if they did want to make a rotation, but Secret are very firmly planted in the bottom half of the map while LGD are in the top, so they're not going to find anything, and that just means that come minute 18, Secret are just ready to rock and roll again. And it's hard to see the path for LGD to initiate fights, so maybe you just need to, again, slow things down, farm it up. But what's the exact timing you're playing for? So your Lone Druid has Maelstrom and he's going towards the Mjolnir. Your Enigma is not going BKB because he's going to be scared about global the whole game and maybe he will just never get to use Black Hole, more or less. So he's going for the Greaves. All right, they're going to try to turn this into Roche. I kind of like this. I think maybe if they did this a little bit earlier, this would have been a higher impact play because actually the Global and the Donald are now online again. So might have missed the timing if Secret find this opportunity to get in there with Zayats.
Yep, Roche going down slowly. The Wraith packed inside as Nisha seems to have a decent idea that this is happening. He's just going to walk right in with the Split Arc. Gets off the Pulse Nova and the Bloodstone ahead of him. The Soul Guarding on the outskirts as Zayats gets stunned, but nothing to say. Already gets off his Rolling Thunder, but a huge Starbreaker. Chrysalis deletes Faith Beyond. Jin Q starting to get quite low as Puppey's the first to fall for Secret, so it's a 1-for-1. He's going to buy back into the game, though. Double kill from Chrysalis coming out as well, and Nisha pretty much out of mana, but it's just enough to take out Ame. And now Y and company from LGD have to get the hell out of here as Secret will likely get the Roche.
Yeah, maybe Secret kind of let them do that.
Thanks for the damage.
Do the hard work for us. You know, we can't really kill Roche ourselves that quickly, so if you guys would please get him to a quarter health, we'll just show up with our spells and clean you out. They didn't even use Global. Like, Rezo actually doesn't have the mana for it right now. It was not necessary in that fight. They had a Donald, which was okay to connect on the side. We're going to see the replay here, so I love the way Secret approached this fight by sending in Leshrac first. He knows he has so much defensive cover plus the Bloodstone that he's not worried. And they find this connection on the left-hand side. This pretty much ends the fight. They kill off the Enigma with the Nyx as well as the Dawnbreaker ult, connect that, and Ame, sure, you find the Crystal Maiden in the middle of that fight, but you're in the middle of the fight against Flesh, and you're not getting out of there afterwards, so easy cleanup for Secret, and man, going into the series today, I was not expecting that any game would be this one-sided as this is looking right now. Are LGD adopting some sort of new strategy? You know, start out slow in groups, then you pick up some steam, you go into the playoffs, you start off slow in game number 1, you pick up your steam. That's maybe the question, because this one is it's not looking healthy right now.
So if I'm not mistaken, at the Arlington Major, I was casting a game at PSG.LGD. We're down by like 20 plus K. Like it was a top hat shellacking level. And they brought it back, so this is the one team I would not be comfortable with a lead, no matter how much. As we see mass TPs now from PSG.LGD, Global Science to give him some cover. Nisha really wants to finish off the Dazzle, not going to be able to do so. Now completely out of mana, but remember, does have the Aegis still intact. Might have to use it here, but Solar Guardian is healing up to a decent amount. Chrysalis not able to connect on any stuns, though. As Secret looking to potentially reset, but no kills come out from PSG.LGD. See the freezing field in the meantime, yeah. Is that bear number 1 or is that 2?
I think that is bear number 2. Yeah.
Oh,
50-second cooldown now for Ame. Yeah, if somebody has experience killing creeps with freezing field, it is Puppey. So feels really good about that. That's a very big creep there. A so-called creep hero, if you will. It's very. If you're new to Dota, Lone Druid bear is complicated. It's
yeah. That's true.
That's its Facebook status. It's complicated. All right. Nice carapace.
Oh, beautiful setup. Split Earth to follow, and the Impale again. Nothing to say is dead.
And that's
Secret, man.
You gotta be so careful about this as Pango. You kind of need to weigh the pros and cons of using Swashbuckle like this, because you could obviously Swashbuckle toward your own base with the damage, right? But he wanted to get a little bit of value poke out of it. Gets carapace and gets killed. So you gotta second guess yourself a lot of the time with your Pango instincts when you are playing against this hero and it's missing, because you never know when you're gonna connect on that carapace and you're just getting killed off by that.
Just kill bear, just kill bear. I don't have global.
It's okay, they're all dead. I can push them.
Yeah, let's check Roche. Yeah, let's go for Roche. I might just run.
They're gonna run bottom to our outpost. We can
smoke into them.
I can smoke mango. We don't have actually.
Yeah, I will swap.
Not global, but we can fight easy.
Let's try to 15 seconds though.
Oh yeah, the classic Rezo, no global, we can fight easy. Well, he didn't have mana.
Oh, Impale set up onto Faith Beyond with the Solar Guardian, but a nice Tusk Snowball mitigates a lot of it as Crystal pops the BKB a little bit prematurely. Starbreak doesn't really connect very well, but they still have the damage, it looks like, to take out Faith Beyond. And Jin Q is next on the list. So despite the secret initiation not going as planned, I mean, with this kind of a lead, it doesn't really matter sometimes.
It's just such a strong position for their lineup to play on this high ground, right? And you're seeing again Faith Beyond. He's just holding Black Hole. He can't use it. So the impact of this hero very, very minimal so far in this game, considering what we've seen from Enigma earlier in the tournament. Secret seems to have a very good understanding of how to solve it. And this looks like Y will also finding a quick way back to base. As Grave.
Yeah.
Okay. He kind of juked them by running in a line.
Sometimes it's the hardest path to follow. Okay.
That is really impressive that he found a way out of that.
On the other side of the map, though, Jin Q gets off the initiation. Already has his shard as Zayats gets off the impale, as Nisha has to walk his way around, but looks like Jin Q is likely to fall. He's getting healed up, though. And still the Aegis in line for Nisha, so he is not scared. Eventually, Jin Q goes down, and there's the stun follow-up. And Nisha, they're looking for the bear. That's all the damage that Ame has. I mean, to get Lightning Storm down, he's just going to continue on now. They're looking for a full team wipe potentially. Global Silence is there. Nisha just hedging his bets. GG is called, and Secret completely stomped game number 1. Not what we were expecting, but Secret off to an amazing start.
Yeah, that was not even remotely close. Just absolutely crushed them, start to finish. The lanes went well. I think the double counter to the Enigma really caused a lot of problems for LGD. I mean, it's easy to say, right? Because he never cast Black Hole. It's pretty rare that you see a game with Enigma not using ulti a single time.
Yeah.
But you got to look at it from his perspective. He's playing into some super hard counters. They let the Silencer through to second phase. Secret more than happy to pick that up and just put on a clinic in this game. Everything went exceptionally well. Nisha got the fast Bloodstone like you talked about. He gets the Aegis and they just get the job done. Like, he runs in, what's killing him? They have no healing reduction. He puts on the Bloodstone, goes to town, hits a lot of units with Ultimate and just kills them out of everything.
LGD kind of, I mean, I was going to say on the ropes. Technically on the ropes would be lower bracket. They obviously would still have another life if they were able to, if they were going to lose a second game in the series. But, I mean, this was beyond any of our understanding, I feel like, or our predictions, especially yours. Because you always pick LGD to win, and they always lose somehow.
That is just not true. I mean, they win a lot of the time, but
I mean,
they do lose sometimes.
Technically, you're right, actually.
Yeah, it is important to be technically correct, as we both know.
That is correct. But I mean, going into game 2, what do you think? What does LGD need to do? Was this a draft thing? Was this a laning stage thing?
I think part of it was definitely the draft. I think they had some problems with how the lanes went, so I think that's where you want to start, and then go from there, build yourself a game so that you can be competitive in the mid game.
All right, well, with that, let's see what the panel has to say, and we'll see if Jenkins has gotten a haircut in the last 10 minutes.
He did not get a haircut in the last 10 minutes. And to be honest, didn't have time for it. We're watching Dota. Come on, we want to listen to your beautiful voices the whole time, not miss a single second. And that was tough to do because blink and you miss it. This game was very fast here, joined by Effie, Lacoste, and of course Jenkins, indeed, still with his long hair. Jenkins, breaking this game down, it went a little bit different than what you were expecting.
Jenkins.
Jenkins.
I will say, I'm very surprised that Suns fan was the one casting that. He didn't say what level of shellacking that was, because that was a very high tier shellacking. Obviously, with him being the leader of the council, I can't say it was definitely Gaben level shellacking. And LGD, nonetheless, like, that's insane. Nobody expected this. Nobody. Not a game that is that decisive.
I'm still kind of shocked. That went completely the opposite of what I thought would happen. We were completely wrong. The Lone Druid looked like it did nothing. The Silencer actually had a great time. The Dazzle felt countered also by the Silencer, not just the Enigma. And Enigma never really found his entry point into the game. I just want to kind of take it back to that Nisha mid lane dominance, though. He completely bullied out Nothing to Say his Pangolier and made it so that the access into the game through the tempo of the Pango could never actually happen because there was just so much pressure coming out of the Flush Rock. And of course, the early Dawnbreaker rotations by Crystalist, who was getting so many kills. The first Tusk rotation mid, against Flash went completely bad because Dawn was already level 6, and they just, it felt like Secret had their number every step of that game.
I know it's a meme, this Nisha is such a consistent player thing, but I do feel like he's 7-0-6, he's just, it's like he's consistent, but he's consistently diving towers and consistently getting away at 10% HP. The guy's a monster.
He knows that he has the back of his team with either like Crystallis backing him up, the Global Silence, Nyx Assassin with the Carapace. I mean, we thought this game's gonna go in a different way, but yeah, they completely shut down Enigma. One of the few times where you see like Fate Beyond being completely mitigated. Like he couldn't do anything. I don't think we've seen a single black hole. Sometimes we don't see a black hole where there's like the threat of the black hole is stronger than he's actually using the black hole.
Yeah.
But this time around, playing against the Silencer as well, very difficult game. Like nothing to say. I feel like he needed to be that guy that is going to step up for his team in this one, because like. Sure, Dazzle is a position 5, doesn't move around the map that easily, but as you said, Jenkins, he got completely dominated by Nisha.
Based on that performance, I don't think LGD can go for these Pangos versus Leshrocks, right? They have to go for some hero that can self-sustain and just not get kicked out of a lane if they're going to win the game. At least if they're going to play something like a Lone Druid from the safe lane. So there's going to be a lot of revision, but I still have faith that we're going to have a good series here today, and it's not going to be a 2-0.
Well, it's going to be a very important mid-series moment for them to get the speed that they need to force out that third game. And while we are taking that moment, we're also going to have a moment with Slacks and Casey.
Back to you.
Hello, thank you so much, Cheaters. Casey, one of the greatest things about Dota, about the International, is one of my favorite things in general. It is content, and it is the short film contest. We have a very special opportunity here to show you some of the finalists. Now, you watch these, right, Casey? You enjoy all the different short films out there, all the different Dota content, right?
Yeah.
Well, we have 3 of the best ones coming up here. We have one that was hand-drawn in anime style. We have a live-action one, and we have one made with some source filmmaker and other stuff. So the Dota community gets so creative with these things. I'm sorry I'm monologuing, but we got a chance. So go ahead, Casey, if you can, please take a break from that LGD game, wash your face a little bit, take a breather, and get ready to watch some short films. Let's take a look.
think he's gone?
Your life is mine.
Oh, they're all so good.
That was insane. That was insane.
That's mad. I mean, you said how everybody's so talented. We saw the first one. This one's gonna win. We saw the second one. Oh, wait a second.
Wow. And the third one, we need live action Dota movie.
I didn't even know you could submit live action Dota short films. That's so cool. How much did it cost to make, do you think? That looked expensive. It's like a special
Those were
effects
all
and,
dark.
like-
I liked how dark all of those were. That was good.
Oh, I mean, they were dark, but they were good. I mean, Dota is a fairly dark game.
It is.
If you think about it, so it's very fitting. Is there any that you have favorite of those three? Or?
I'm gonna go with the second.
I think number 2 for me. Number 2 was good.
For me, the third one, because I haven't seen someone submit a live action.
Are we gonna expect an Effie live action short film next year?
I don't know, I have no talent. It's okay.
How about you, Jenkins?
I'll be the one that says that's not true.
Thanks, Jenkins.
Nobody's
I appreciate you.
You guys just said nothing. I was like, oh, surely Shiva's gonna. Yeah, that's not true. Yeah, let that hang out. I got
How do I
got
tell her that I agree?
No.
She said it.
Speaking of talent, there's a lot of it on the main stage of the playoffs here for the international Team Secret. 1 game up against PSG.LGD in this upper bracket match. And they did it very fast, very convincingly. And we know the PSG.LGD is a very veteran team. They also know how to come back from a loss. Where do you start when you have those 10 minutes between game end and game start? Where do you start by saying, okay, here's where we went wrong when a game went like that across?
I mean, PSG.LGD, most of the time they're on the winning side. I mean, if you look at the score, GNQ from the previous game, 1-9-0. That's something that does not happen. But this is also a team that can shake it off, completely go with a different draft, go change the bans as well, leave the heroes in the pool. A team that can adapt so quickly, and like they're a team that has variety of the heroes that they play. If you check like their Dota stats, whatever, it just shows like, oh, they're playing like 10, 12, 13 different heroes, and it like, you know that they can play whatever it's needed at the time.
We saw it in True Sight, how they shake things off. There's a lot of Zhao 8 accepting the blame on himself, being like, hey guys, like I screwed this thing up in the draft, like we'll just go in and do this next time.
Yeah.
Also, you know, Jinq, and we saw during True Sight, he was like, I feel like I can't do anything on the IO. Like they make these calls where it's like, this was a core problem in this series, in this game. We don't know if this is a core problem with the team, but we're not ready to do it like this again. Let's change this one thing and go into the next game. I really do truly believe in their ability to reset. I think everybody does, given True Sight, of course.
Yeah, and I really do think that that game in particular can be traced back a little bit to that mid lane matchup, but also just giving away the Silencer versus the Enigma that you managed to snatch in the first phase. I also do think that the Chen and Enchantress first phase bans were a bit overkill, right? You can absolutely ban out that Chen because it is a contested hero between both of these teams, but the Chen and the Enchantress is kind of giving a little bit too much respect to a playstyle that is not overpowered right now.
That's very true. And it's probably where we're going to see something being changed up, because a couple of different bans here and there will shake things up completely. Of course, also pick order will be changed slightly. So maybe, you know, the Enigma was picked up. Yes, it was not that successful, and we were expecting the Silencer to be banned before that already. But perhaps this time around, we'll just not let us get through altogether. Or maybe in the hands of Team Secret, in which case I think they will want to ban out the Silencer as well. I think there's a lot of people here wanting to get
That's the classic.
Game
That's
3. It's been a relatively rapid day so far on the main stage. But let's see if PSG.LGD can set themselves up for success here in Game 2 of this series.
PSG.LGD versus Team Secret. Game 2.
So draft is upon us, and that means we are going to talk more about the heroes that will be picked or banned in the next coming 10 minutes, because that's where a coach will go to look at, okay, if Zawade says, it's my fault, I messed up, it's because of the draft, and that's easily fixed. Although I do need to take us a little bit back to after the draft was done, where my panel, you guys thought PSG.LGD won the draft.
We really did, and it went absolutely the opposite of what we thought. But also, I think it's doing a disservice to Secret to credit that win to only the draft. I think they played really well.
Totally agree.
They were able to back each other up. I think Crystal's also absolutely stepped up that game, not just Nisha. And it's really interesting how Secret can play a style where they also have the backup carry in resolution, right?
Yeah.
The only lane that went badly for Secret last game was the silencer lane. And because they were able to just play as a unit of 4 post minute 8 or something like that, silencer was just sitting in that bottom lane farming away. And it's just really interesting that this team, even though they're such a new roster, are so flexible in how they can play around each other.
Yeah, being able to flex the silencer to off lane means that they can very comfortably first phase it and just flex it and pick other supports if those supports seem to be good in the draft. And yeah, it's strong. It's strong.
The question is, are they willing to give away Marcy to Team Secret? Because last time they did ban Chen and Enchantress. FEU said it was a bit of an overkill. I mean, also thinking about it, why one of the better Enchantress players out there? So I think Marcy just could make a lot more things difficult for PSG.LGD if they leave Marcy in the pool.
One thing with Resolution as an offlaner is that he can be thrown into like bad lanes, and I feel like he's pretty good at identifying that all he needs to do is like not feed. And then the rest of Secret does well enough that he can catch up. Like Effie was saying, like after the laning stage on Silencer, he just sat in lane and like free farm, even though the lane was quite difficult for him. And no matter what hero he's thrown on, it seems like he's able to do that. Even when he like played other roles, he was able to recover always. He's a very stable player.
So they give away Marcy, and their second ban goes out to the Batrider. We've seen it pop up a couple of times, but first phase ban is not that usual. What could that say about the rest of the draft?
It doesn't even have a good win rate. The last time I checked, it was
So
near
17% last time I checked.
It is not the best of heroes right now, so I honestly don't know where they're going with this. I'm just going to have to wait and see. LGD do try to be a little bit more experimental with their drafts when they can, but I don't think Game 2 of the Upper Bracket Series is when you want to do this.
We see these the Frosty Heroes get more and more priority. The Lich first pick for PSG.LGD. They paired up with a Tiny.
Now I can kind of understand the Bat ban to a large degree, just because like obviously like Nisha does play it. He has been playing it, but against the Frost Shield, Batrider just doesn't care. Lich does nothing to Bat, and Bat has one of the highest win rates in the game versus Tiny. I think he's like the second highest win rate next to TB because you do overwhelming magical damage. Tiny gets a BKB, sure, but you play long fights with Batrider.
And someone asked on the panel, did these teams watch the previous game, looking how this draft panned out? I would say yes.
Yeah.
So it also makes it so that this Tiny can be played mid comfortably without a Batrider to like thwart him on lane and later on. But also by having this Tiny in the game, you're not that scared of the SF plus Marcy matchup. We saw how Thunder Awaken were able to play these two heroes to success, right? They used Dark Mago's Tiny to constantly toss back the Shadow Fiend, and it made his game really difficult. While they also had the Frost Armor from Lich to negate any of the damage coming out of Marcy. I like the pivot that Secret does here and just takes the Leshrac back again instead of going for the SF that LGD left in the pool, because Lesh does not care about Frost Armor and also lanes quite well versus Tiny, so why change it if it's not broken? Also still flexible to the offlane like we talked about last game.
Yeah, keeping their options open and also having another potentially ranged against melee matchup on the mid lane, which you know that Nisha is going to win.
Anytime I see a Marcy though in an Leshrac, it's like it feels so good to lane those two heroes together. It is so strong. But the same thing can also be said with the Marcy rotation, because not only is she arguably the strongest laning support in the game, she's also the strongest rotating support in the game. So she can also go mid. But if they do want to throw this in a side lane for Secret, there's very little that's going to be able to beat a Marcy plus Leshrac.
This Leshrac just makes LGD a little bit uncomfortable because based on how Nisha played last game, it made it so that they really didn't have any proper moves, and Leshrac is a hero that can lane well versus this mid Tiny, so they are considering the ability of LGD to flex it to just support and pick something like Alina, which Secret have already preemptively found out, right? I just think that it's incredibly important for Nothing to Say to have some kind of entry point into this early mid game, because if they're going to play that similar style that they did in last game and go for some active carry like a Bloodseeker or a Dawn, it's going to look really close to what we saw already.
Look at how they approach this Leshrac. Banning out the Lina means that most likely this Lesh is going to be on the mid lane. If you're looking for something that can outrange as well, Sniper is the other hero I'm looking at. But then again, there is Marcy. Marcy, one of the heroes that can ruin Sniper easily with just getting on top of him, tossing him back.
Yeah.
So it could be a bit difficult, but maybe also an Invoker works as well to have you know, something that, because Leshrac does a lot of poke damage with his Lightning Storm. You can dodge the ganks. One good tornado can stop the ganks, set things up for your Tiny to come in. So could work out.
Is it strong enough to be banned here for Team Secret? We're gonna get a Ursa banned out first.
Very
and,
quick bans and picks coming through.
Ursa banned, Beastmaster banned, instant Zeus pick.
Yeah.
Why? How did
Thunder
they know?
Awaken played it this way.
They
Is
won.
this a rerun?
100% win rate on the main stage.
So actually, Zeus is a really good hero, in my opinion, from the mid lane to play versus Leshrac if they do decide to put it mid, and to also kind of avoid these Marcy ganks early on, just because he has the ability to disengage with Heavenly Jump, right? So just having a hero that can not get crushed on lane the way that we saw first game gives them so much already, but also just having the Thunder God's Wrath from Zeus with a Tiny on your team who's going to go Blink Dagger, it gives you the ability to scout enemies and just start the fight for yourself. So while LGD's draft has a lot of synergy together, it does look a little bit like Thunder Awakens, so I think that's why we're like, huh, interesting. They probably did watch the series to the end, but I think it works.
It's a lot of magical burst coming out from this PSG.LGD's lineup, and I'm a little worried for Team Secret, like how they're gonna soak up all this magical damage.
Well, at this point,
Core Marcy.
It looks like a core Marcy. So who is it that plays it on the side of Team Secret? Is it Rezo? Because I think I've seen Rezo play Marcy.
Yes. Rezo plays Core Marcy.
The thing is, I was looking at Secret, and I was hoping that they would go for some hero that can be the early pipe in this game. The same way we saw EG pick that Tidehunter into Thunder Awaken Zeus, and by that pipe, you kind of need something like that if you're going to play against a draft like this. But you can also just have a hero that buys BKB early and goes on the Zeus, right? So Marcy can also do that for your team.
Very true. So we got the Monkey King picked up by PSG.LGD, which also denies it. I'm assuming that for Team Secret, we are looking for a hero for Crystallis, and Monkey King is his most played hero ever, and most successful one with that as well. What heroes are still left in the pool for him? Bloodseeker and Razor obviously come to mind.
Morphling is too, but Morphling against Zeus means you can never morph low. He can just Thunder God's Wrath you. He did play Slardar.
He did.
In one game.
Okay, so I think that LGD have only played Monkey King once. Am I wrong? Do you have the stats? But when they did play it, it was their carry pick.
Yeah,
So,
I think they played it a couple times on Ame.
So it seems like they just secured their carry pick now before they go for some gotcha or it gets banned out. But
It was only once, you were right,
okay,
by the way.
yeah. So also they just have the vision game secure with this Monkey King, right? It's a hero that can play the tree lines. You also have the Thunder God's Wrath from Zeus, and you have the Initiator in Tiny. So while the draft is synergetic together, I am a little bit concerned that Monkey King can die early on, especially if he's playing versus a Leshrac from the mid lane who's just going to rotate on him. But hopefully the Lich will be enough to secure this Monkey King's early game.
Yeah, late game, I think that matchup tends to go the other way, where, like, if Lesh wants to play into a Monkey ult, Monkey just shreds Lesh through Bloodstone, everything.
Yeah.
But early game, yeah, it's like armor for what, right? You know, Leshrac does pure damage, magic damage.
Pretty much, but once you get that BKB or Diffusal Blade or Echo Saber or whatever it is that you want to do, you can fight into
fully
this
drain him,
Leshrac.
yeah.
You can also just eat this Disruptor, it's food, once you get a BKB as Monkey King, and then you can ignore the Nyx for the duration of it.
I think PSG.LGD lacks a little bit of tower damage, because like Zeus, Lich, Tiny 4, they don't deal as much, so and they also need to pick it blindly. So something that Fate Beyond does love to play, especially when paired up with this position 4 Tiny, is Death Prophet, where you know it deals damage. Picking it blindly, it's still a strong lane, and yeah. Looking at the bans, Bloodseeker, Razor, these are Crystal's most played heroes, and they're going to get rid of that.
I really like the idea of Death Prophet because I feel like Death Prophet heals through the Disruptor, harass in lane. It's a hero that really likes heroes that play into you. Lesh likes to run into you, Marcy jumps on you, and you can just siphon these heroes and they die to the ghosts. That'd be a really solid pick. I can't believe Brood's made it through this far.
Yeah. First phase ban, both games in the previous series.
Yeah. So this is very likely Crystallis's hero, which a lot of his heroes are banned out right now.
So what is still in? You mentioned the Slardar earlier.
Lifestealer, which is not
banned.
so great. Oh, it's banned?
Banned
okay.
as well.
There's still Shadow.
Viper?
Morphling as well, potentially.
Well, there's quite a few options left into the pool then.
Morph feels rough against Tiny Burst and Zeus, who can ult you when you're low HP. I mean, it actually would be a good Viper game. The last time they picked the Viper, it was when they had, I think it was like Sniper Mid or something like that. So it's more of a, I guess Lesh, it can carry the game to a large degree, so maybe you can still go for it. They go for the Dawn.
The Dawn.
It's a repeat of game 1.
Yeah, so this Dawnbreaker, while it doesn't necessarily have the best core-to-core matchup versus the Monkey King, it can just give them that like lane security, right? It's a strong laner. It can also help the Leshrac early on, like we saw last game, versus rotations, and it's a stable pick. It's also one of Crystal's comfort heroes, so maybe they didn't want to stray too far here.
Because he had a really good game. Like, he didn't die a single time on this Dawnbreaker, and again, combination with the Nyx Assassin to be able to follow it up, scout things out. Pretty much all of these heroes die. If you find them with the Nyx Assassin, they're very low HP heroes like the Zeus, Monkey, Lich. Tiny not as much, but still, you do have enough stun, you do have enough burst damage to bring them down.
Yeah, but especially the Zeus, right? You can set up for these kills now on the Zeus with like a Carapace into one of his nukes while he's farming, and then you just have this Dawnbreaker follow-up stun. I do think the stuns exactly overlap each other, so there shouldn't be space for the Zeus to get away from ganks like that early on.
Yeah, the Death Prophet, as called, comes out here for Faith Beyond.
Yeah, I mean, they needed some kind of tower damage to be able to put the pressure on the map. Even if you have kills, sometimes it's very difficult to close out the game. Like, if they didn't have tower damage from the off lane, they would really struggle killing tier 2 towers because it just gets very difficult. I think PSG.LGD, they made the adjustments that was needed, and yeah, I'm gonna put even more faith in them this time around.
So congratulations, Team Secret.
Yeah.
No, I do think their draft looks better. They have a means to fight back. I really would like them to win this one so we can get a game 3.
Yeah,
so not going to jinx anything, but honestly it does look really good. The Death Prophet can sustain versus this Disruptor Harass. It gives them the tower damage that Lacoste was talking about. The only issue would be whether or not this Zeus gets taken advantage of early on, because Lich is a slower hero and slower to rotate to help. But if this Zeus can have a good game early on, there really isn't that much damage mitigation on the side of Team Secret, right? There's no pipe buyer, there's no Wraith Pact buyer, you're playing with a offlane Marcy. She's not really the type that does that for you. So Secret's draft is greedier and less likely to punish LGD early on.
Jacobs, what's one thing people can look out for to see if PSG.LGD is doing well and will force out this third game?
If they're doing well, I mean, I think if the game just goes late, like that's when Monkey King wins the matchup against Lesh, and like Effie mentioned, there's really nothing to deal with the Zeus.
Okay. We're going to find out if this game will indeed be a long one, as PSG.LGD's draft would like. We're heading over to Sunspan and Synderen.
Thank you, and welcome to game number 2 between Secret and PSG.LGD. Happy Slacks, how are you doing?
Am I Happy Slacks?
I can't tell.
I think you're Angry Slacks, and I'm LGD after the last game. So I think you know we're doing okay up here. Let's see if LGD are doing better in this game than the previous one, because that was an absolute beatdown, and they need to bring it back here to get us a third game. Just want to give a quick shout out to the fans in the arena that supplied us with these. We have some fans here with a seemingly endless supply of Sir Action Slacks masks. I'm sure you guys will be able to find them out there, but now it's time for the game. Yep. That was a good timing on that voice line of us actually taking off the mask. So that's that did feel good to take off. I'm not gonna lie.
It is close to Halloween, and I did feel terrifying for once in my life.
That is true.
Appreciate that. As we do make it into game number 2, like we said, and already a smoke here from LGD. But looking at their lineup, Cinderin, I might have to interrupt you if things start, but you can start your monologue to tell me what you think of both sides here.
I think compared to last game, I think LGD have more early game prowess. I think last game was in a way, it was a little bit all in with how things needed to go, and the one lane that they were going to do well in kind of did, but not enough. I think this time around they have more skirmishing power with the Monkey King stun from the trees. They've got a Tiny on Jinkyu this time compared to the Tusk last game that got shut down. For Secret, they're running some of the same stuff, right? The name of the game last game was Counter Initiation. This time around they have it again. They have their Nyx Dawnbreaker combo where you stun to set up the Dawnbreaker ult, you can Carapace to set it up. Rather different though from Puppy's side to have the Disruptor instead of the Maiden. A very aggressive support that capitalizes a lot on when you initiate.
Yeah.
So I guess in a way Secret's lineup a little bit less one-dimensional than last game, which can be both a good and a bad thing. But more than anything, I don't know how much to really talk about the drafts more so than, okay, you know, for LGD, you gotta feel like you get an entry into the game, right? Whatever lineup you have. If you fall behind again, it's not a good look.
Yep, as we're going to see an Impale come out from Zayas just to poke Y a bit. But like you said, the CM very different with the Disruptor now because, I mean, we saw early game, Puppy was farming, and guess what? Disruptor cannot do that at all. He can farm heroes, though, if he's able to find pickoffs here, just forcing Y back to the tier 2 tower. Zayas TP's away now. So he's preventing the supports from getting into the lane with their position 1. Faith Beyond playing the Death Prophet here.
Interesting choice from Secret here to opt for essentially a lane swap, right? They're playing Chrysalis in the off lane together with Disruptor on Puppy, so they feel like this matchup, both their side lane matchups are not particularly good against Monkey King, right? Both Marcy and Dawn are these melee heroes, but they feel like they offer more in the top lane this way, and I think part of the logic is this way they combine all of their magic damage better, right? Disruptor plus Dawn have a lot of magic damage against the Frost Shield and against Monkey King's low HP pool, so maybe they can stand their ground and fight back, whereas something like a Nyx Marcy, I think, would have kind of been overwhelmed. Sure, they have some magic damage, but it doesn't amount to nearly the same as a good Celestial Hammer plus Thunderstrike combination will, so...
I mean, as a result of these lanes, Rezo is effectively playing position 1 Marcy, which, you know, he's had plenty of practice in years past playing position 1, position 2, and obviously position 3 normally now these days. But what are your thoughts on Marcy as a POS 1 right now?
I think the hero is incredibly strong as a core in general. You need BKB phase boots and you become a monster, so whichever lane you put Marcy in where she finds farm, you will get that impact later. I do think one upside for LGD against this hero in this game, though, is that I think they have somewhat decent disengage. They have some tossbacks, they have Frost Shield against the Marcy damage. Monkey King has his jump, obviously. They have arguably the advantage of vision as well, where they have Zeus ulti, they can have Monkey in the trees. There's a Nyx on the other side, so maybe kind of equalizes it, but I definitely think this is a game where Marcy with a BKB is very strong, but until she has it, I think she can be taken advantage of by almost all of LGD's lineup, actually. A lot of magic burst, a lot of control.
And what are your thoughts on this specific mid matchup, Lesh versus Zeus?
Should be Lesh favored. It's kind of like last game where you had Nisha playing against a Pangolier. This time you're against a ranged hero, but Zeus's forte is not beating ranged heroes out of lane. It's finding his farm and then finding impact later, and just kind of trying to break even. But I do think Lesh over time should be able to build a little bit of an advantage. Nice detail there from Nothing to Say in mid, by the way. Used the heavenly jump to attack speed slow Nisha so he didn't get the flag bearer creep. Just a double CS loss, essentially.
Rezo getting forced out of lane temporarily here. 8-6 start for him, so
not the best.
Not the best, but we'll see if that changes here. Jinkyu has been applying a lot of pressure, and obviously Faith Beyond on the Death Prophet, like we talked about. A hero that, I mean, not too long ago was changed, so Spirit Siphon's not percentage-based damage, so it won't scale as well, but as a result, it's, in a lot of times, stronger early game.
It is
a fixed amount.
So powerful around the... I think, in many ways, DP is one of the strongest heroes in Dota when it hits level 7. If it has 4 in Spirit Siphon and has an okay matchup, you see these clips where DPs just win 1v3s because the enemy team doesn't have healing reduction or don't have good chain stuns or kite ability to get away. A hero like Marcy is relatively safe in that regard, that she does have the rebound to get away, but you still got to be a little bit wary when Xingqiu hits level 3, because you could get tossed too far away to rebound, and then you can get avalanched in that position. But
Rezo, set up there from Zayats to start things out. Sidekick is there as well, but the Spirit Siphon from Faith Beyond is going to force Resolution back for the time being and connect back into the lane. But you can see the CS from all the lanes. This is very LGD favored. Mid lane is kind of a wash, but the other two very LGD favored, like I said. So how important is that for Secret, for LGD to get off to this good start in the laning stage?
I mean, it's huge, especially I think that one of the biggest differences between this game and the last is just polar opposite game for Crystallis, right? Last game he got to play Dawnbreaker against Enigma, which is just, you just coasting to a free lane.
Yeah.
This one, you have one of your worst matchups, which, again, kind of interesting that Secret opt for this, right? I think not only did they put Dawnbreaker against Monkey King, didn't they also pick it into Monkey, or what was the pick order? I feel like it was kind of, there was something about that draft that was a little bit surprising with the order.
What would have been so bad about Marcy in this lane? Because she has a way to get away from...
She does have a way to get away as well, yeah. Oh.
A glimpse back, Starbreaker, but a lot of it's mitigated thanks to Frost Shield coming out from Y. And it's not gonna, I was going to say it's not going to lead to kill, but that is more damage than I thought. First Blood ends up going to Puppey. The Secret, despite losing in the CS and the outer lanes, able to get First Blood. A nice double stun from Zayat, but the Avalanche is going to keep him in place. Spirit Siphon, and the tree toss is there. Xingqiu gets credit for it.
Yeah, I think the mindset for Secret in this bottom lane should just be we can't kill and we shouldn't go for aggressive moves, because I think the punish is just too strong, right? Even Rezo with a running sidekick on both of them, Faith Beyond is going to overpower them with Spirit Siphon. They just don't have the tools to manage that until you have maybe level 6 on Marcy. Perhaps there's an opportunity to find a kill there. But yeah, the top lane, nice kill from Secret. I'm a little bit surprised that Ame didn't get more involved in trying to save his Lich, but I think he had creeps in the tower that he was prioritizing, and maybe the communication was Y saying, I'm fine, don't worry.
Speaking of Y,
yep.
Take some heavy damage here, but here comes the pounce from Ame. Crystallis, it's going to be another Jingu stack coming out for Ame. And Puppey basically out of mana right now.
Stuns.
Yeah, but a Starbreaker coming out. It does connect onto the Lich, but the Thunder God's Wrath finishes off 2 heroes. So nothing to say, despite being kind of a wash in the mid lane, now has 2 kills to his name.
Yeah, and that's going to put him at the advantage, not just breaking even now with Lesh, but will be pulling ahead on that net worth. So 500 gold advantage for him there. Had the Arcane Rune as well for that Thunder God, so it feels really good to use. It's a relatively long cooldown on level 1, but nice jump there. No Carapace.
Yeah.
From Zayat. Maybe wasn't expecting the jump to come that early from MTS, but yeah, I dare say already that the conditions LGD have in this game are going to make it a closer game than the last one. Like, this is already so much better when you consider how their lineup is going to fare in the next stages of this game. And I think the challenge here for Secret is going to be bringing Nisha into the game. I think he's the key to unlocking the game for them. He has a lot of magic damage against the Frost Shield. He's one of the heroes that can kill Monkey King right now, which, as we've established, their 2 side lane melee cores don't do the best job at. But the way you bring the Lesh into the game here is usually through the Nyx, but he's level 2. We're 7 minutes in. Zayat is having a totally different game than the first one. Really suffering down here. They're obviously going to use that to give Rezo the priority of finding a fast 6, and now he's going to leech some XP off of Nisha climbing that stack in the jungle, but it's a long ways away. I think Zayat has to take a lane away now from Nisha for a while to give himself a game. It is really important that you don't fall into that trap of supports, which I think kind of happened to LGD in the last game, where you're like, you know, you can't just give your cores everything. The supports need to be unlocked to find purpose in the game. For now, Zayat is back bottom.
Rezo trying to farm these creeps up, but Avalanche is there. Toss back into the Exorcism from Faith Beyond, but the rebound global range as usual. And Marcy is A-okay, to say the least.
No Sinister Gaze there, I believe, from Y.
That is true.
I think he wanted to use it a little bit later. Didn't expect Marcy to be in range for the jump on the Nyx there. So I think it is one of those moments where you need to time it perfectly, because if you use it instantly, I don't think you have enough damage for Rezo anyway, so you needed to use it delayed.
Secret are trying to fight into this Exo. It's going to be running out relatively soon, so I'm trying to time that perfectly. Rezo's going to show himself, though. The fortification was already popped as Xingqiu. They do get the D word one way or the other, but it will be a deny. As you can see, nothing to say, taking a lot of damage. Actually, the Heavenly Jump on the other side, and he's just dead to Nisha. Big kill for Secret as now they try to pursue. That was a rebound into a toss, which helps the unleash a little bit here. Impale's going to connect onto one, but now Resolution has to be a little bit careful. Gets off the dispose, and there's the Sinister Gaze you were talking about from Y. They do find the kill on the support, but Resolution falls in the end, and a split art's just a millimeter off. And Nisha trying to find some more value here.
Millimeter, not inch. All right, Zinku's back.
Well, it was a millimeter. Inch is bigger than a millimeter. I don't know if you know that, Cinderin.
No, you don't know what a millimeter is.
Trivia time for you as Chrysalis hammers to the low ground. Looks like he's fine.
Yeah. That was a sick toss from Zinku, by the way. During, I think it was mid-air. It was mid-rebound, so he didn't get stunned. And actually made a pretty big difference there that he finds that toss to salvage that situation somewhat. But yeah, huge play from Nisha there. The rotation, finding the Zeus solo kill, finding the regen rune and converting that into additional kill with bot has essentially equalized the game now and put himself in the driver's seat, which, you know, if you're a Secret fan, you might not find this net worth split too healthy. The Lesh way at the top of the board, but then you gotta look quite far down to find the next hero for the team you're cheering for. But if you do have one hero far away of the field in this game,
we have the Impale. Nice setup from Resolution as well. Chrysalis with a Solar Guardian. Faith Beyond is deleted.
Big kill.
Nice pick off, and they've obviously practiced this combo a lot.
Yep.
I mean, last game they didn't have the Marcy to help out on top of that initiation. It was just the Nyx, but it still proved to be quite potent. Now Nisha and company look to find Jin Q, but the Avalanche, nicely placed from him. Spike Carapace a little bit too late.
Yeah, to quote a wise philosopher, it really does feel so good to play with multiple setup stuns as Dawn.
Thank you.
And yeah, I will never call you that again, trust. All right, Zayats.
He's going to be spotted.
Okay.
Sinister Gaze is there. Resolution gets a nice stun off with his rebound. Looks like Y is mega dead as Faith Beyond coming from the low ground with that exorcism. Jin Q following out behind with a static storm inside that kinetic field. They're going to try to focus down the DP, but she's healing so much. Now Resolution, he is getting low. The urn charge applied. One last little damage proc there from the exorcism, and Faith Beyond gets credit for that.
Urn as well will now be turned into a vessel. So this time around, LGD with the healing reduction.
Nothing to say. He's going to do a nice job at dodging, but it doesn't matter. Chrysalis still has the damage. Boundless Strike connects onto two as Ame has come to play, but there is the glimpse, and that's going to reset things. So despite losing there, I mean, what do you want to even call Marcy? It is the position 3 technically.
Yeah.
They do get the position 2 Zeus.
I mean, at this point, both Marcy and Dawn are kind of position 3.5 when you look at the net worth. So.
I mean, we've seen a lot of games in the past where Secret kind of rely on Nisha to absolutely take over, and I want to say of all the people that is good at carrying on their back, he is probably #1 on my list if I had to make one. As Zayats.
Oh, nice
horsey. Very good.
Yep.
But Ame is there.
That's a longer horsey.
Yeah, that's
Primal
a monkey.
Spring.
Monkey over horse, apparently. Zayats will proc down.
That was almost the name of your 2 cats.
That's right. Thank you, Simba.
You're welcome. 1% of the audience got that. That's fine.
God, you're really great to work with.
What is it your cats are called? It's Monkey. Bucket. It's Bucket, right?
That's right. Bucket and Pookie. Thank you.
What name's their cat? Bucket. All right, never mind. Don't talk about my dog's name, okay? We're good.
Onion.
Yeah, that's not what his name is.
It basically is. As Nisha makes his way to the top lane with Resolution's help, and then looking to get the trade a little bit late here, but I doubt LGD will try to defend, just using the fortification. Bloodstone, not too far away from Nisha, just a recipe away, I believe.
Yeah, the big difference between this game and the last one is they have the Vessel, right? So there is a path to killing Lesh for Faith Beyond here on the deep team. And they also have more burst in general. Last game they had more like sustained damage with the Lone Druid, etc. But this time you have the Zeus, you have Monkey King with some decent burst, DP with the high damage at this point in time.
Yeah, but this mid-tier 1, kind of a big deal. You got to be careful of that Thunderbolt if you're Zayats for that vision. Sentry there as well. They're going to spot him. They're going to try to burst him down. Thunder God's Wrath is there as well. Looks like Puppey's going to survive. His Solar Guardian coming in now. They're going to focus all their efforts onto this Lich, and the Zeus dies as well, so nothing to say. Takes a fall. This is going to be a 3rd kill in this engagement, all for Secret, and even a buyback coming out.
They set that up so well. The Nyx does not get caught running into the Sentry, eats the DP silence, resets, and just goes back in. And again, I think in this game, nothing to say with the 3 deaths on Zeus. It's just getting caught a bit too much. Secret with a big trade there. Sure, you lose your mid tower, but you take 1 right back. You find 3 kills and a buyback out of the Lich. So that's huge, and LGD...
I will say, this time around, Secret's Roche lineup is far better in terms of just taking it.
Yeah, Marcy is very good at it.
Yeah, Marcy on top of, I mean, we saw the diabolic, I mean, the same combo, I guess, from last time, but Either way, something they can actually not have to rely on LGD to do 3/4 of the damage before taking, if they want.
You put the sidekick on Dawnbreaker with Deso, and then you use your ult, and those two heroes together can probably kill Roche in like 20 seconds, just the two of them. So definitely
spotting some things out here. We have a glimpse. Faith Beyond is out of there. Haste Rune does spawn as Puppey's gonna take the brunt here. Boundless Strike, but he turns into a little pig. A couple more right clicks will do it. So support down for Secret. As LGD looking for more.
It's all 5 LGD heroes killing a 5 Disruptor, though. That does not feel that great. And this is one of the strengths that you have as Secret's lineup, is that you can play this Dawnbreaker in the side lane and push out the waves and feel somewhat safe, and obviously connect with your ult when it's available. On the other side, Marcy, also a kind of tricky hero for LGD's heroes to kill, so you need to rotate the right amount of numbers. They will do a big move here once again. This time as 4, though. Trying to not break the smoke onto the Nyx. This would be a huge pick if they found Nisha, but reading this like a book and not getting caught. Getting away with that ward.
He might be the one that suffers, but again, it's going to be a support potentially. Gets off the spike carapace though. Exorcism is popped. Does that mean they want to try to go for Roach? They're trying to take a fight. Faith Beyond finding Chrysalis, slowing him down to Spirit Siphon, but the kinetic field blocks him off. And that might be all PSG.LGD get, and that's a big cooldown that they have to take into account now.
Oh, they might even lose their Tiny too.
Earth Hammer's there as well. Down goes Tiny. Faith Beyond. He's here as well, but the Exorcism is running out. Resolution forced to fight despite the Spirit being applied to him.
Oh my God.
Big Lich ult onto 2, and PSG.LGD, despite being down in numbers at the start, end up taking this fight in space 3 for 1. And Nisha left along with Zayats here in the top lane.
Oh, they got insane value out of DP in that fight. So much damage, so much healing, and like you said, the Chain Cross doing tons of work as well. And it honestly, that looked like a really good counterplay from Secret jumping on the Tiny, but I think Resolution maybe bit over a little bit more than he could chew there. I think they have the kill without the rebound. He doesn't need to go in. And that did set them up
place
for a
the sentry there. He's going to get the toss off, and that means Secret probably will back out here. Another ward. The ward battles have come in.
Yep.
Looks like Secret to get a bit of that engagement. It's nothing to say now with the Arcane Rune. That's a big one.
So we're going to see
replay here.
Yeah.
I thought this fight was
so this is really good, this glimpse that comes out here. So they're going to glimpse back Q into a Lesh stun. And I think this is a kill without Marcy connecting here. And now Rezo is out of position. Chain Cross starts bouncing. He carries that one. Wait, didn't it continue? Oh,
right here.
It was on the creep camp above. I was like, where did it go? And then it connected back down to Puppey and Crystals. All right, that's just flat out really unfortunate, because it looked like they carried it away and it was gone. I think Secret were caught off guard by that Chain Cross returning to the fight and actually just giving LGD a little bit of a freebie there. Sometimes the creeps are not neutral. That was dire creeps.
Indeed. Well, 1K lead for PSG.LGD as Faith Beyond working on a BKB. And we've already seen the Spirit Vessel being applied. Very strong item. Zayats continuing on with the Vendetta. He is going to be seen. Why? He's going to take the Vendetta damage to start, but like you said, the silence coming out. Hammer. Chrysalis wants to finish the job, and he will. They find the support.
Making progress toward that Deso. He did go for the shard first. I think that's a good choice in this game as Dawn. You're up against too many problems that prevent you from using Starbreaker, so... And it feels bad to rush BKB. So getting this as a kind of a gapping item for your damage item is solid here. Still have to be very careful when you're out of Starbreaker, though. I think this is, once again, a lineup that LGD are running that are very, very good at punishing melee heroes. So... And we've seen that in the previous fight, right? If you're just a little bit out of position on the Dawn or on the Marcy, the punishment is pretty severe. So maybe Secret are going to try to slow this down until they have Rezo's BKB. I think that would give them a lot of more options to play around with, because I think he's not going to die during that, realistically speaking, unless he's standing in like a Monkey King ult and just tanking that up. Nobody else is doing anything to him in BKB. I don't think the Exorcism Ghosts are really a concern when you have Sidekick plus your ult running. True. You're easily going to out-heal that.
Still about 1,000 away from finishing that, so a couple minutes at least. I mean, from LGD's side, they have a lineup that can take Roche pretty fast with the Exo, but it requires pretty big cooldown, and you will likely want to pick off beforehand.
They're going to look for the set pick off. Wonder if they will try to get this as a level 12 gap for Faith Beyond to then go Roche. Tiny close to dagger, by the way. ZQ went phase boots and has just been quietly farming in the top lane for the last
Smoke
4 or 5 waves.
PSG.LGD, Avalanche clips Resolution, tossed back into the Sinister Gaze, but Nisha's coming with the Solar Guardian help as well. Resolution ticking out very slowly. Looks like he will. Oh no, actually gets off the stun just in time with his Unleash, dispels the Urn Charge, and Jin Q looks like he's going to fall as the Crystalist double kill comes out, but finally Resolution does fall. So a little bit of a backwards engagement, but I think Secret will be okay with this. 2 for 1.
I wonder if we get that in a replay. I wonder if ZQ actually needed to go for that. Because what he did, he gave Resso something to hit with his lifesteal. Obviously, Unleash would not have been able to remove that Vessel charge. It doesn't do that anymore unless you have, I believe it's the Shard, right? Where you get the Dispel.
Oh, the hell.
Or sorry, not the Shard, the Scepter. So, yeah. That got a lot better for Secret than it looked like it would. And again, that counter initiation potential with the Dawn really coming into play there to find a return. So we're going to see the replay here. So look, this is a really good initiation. ZQ into the silence. Just good execution overall. I think he ticks down to this Vessel, but now ZQ is going to walk in and give him lifesteal. And he will outlast this for so long. And the thing about this is, sure, ZQ just kill him in the end, right? But this means Tiny is not participating in the side fight, where that Avalanche could have made a huge difference. Resso all smiles.
No, I'm not sure, but the toss, I think it was bringing him closer, but the Sinister Gaze actually stopped him.
Yeah, it stopped him midair. Yeah.
We're going to see a fight here. Faith Beyond doing a lot of damage, healing with the Spirit Siphon. Here comes the Wukong's command from Ame, trying to focus down Nisha. It's not the Bloodstone, but will that be enough? Spirit Siphon's still there. That's 2 for nothing. PSG.LGD winning this fight, and now another Avalanche. GQ looking for a target to toss. Crystalist can't get to the low ground, though. Has to walk away the old-fashioned way. Gets off the Starbreaker. Really connects onto Ame. Silence to follow. But it looks like this is going to be the death of the position one for Secret as PSG.LGD win a big fight here in the mid-game.
Huge for them. Monkey King unlocked. He gets involved with that BKB and finds the kill on the big game on the other side. The Lash has the Bloodstone and Yules, but no BKB, and does just end up getting kind of, I wouldn't even say he got chains done, but just like a little bit here and there. It just builds up enough time for Ame to finish the job in the end with the Frost Shield slow. Does really benefit Monkey King quite a lot for these chasing sequences. And now all of a sudden, I mean, Secret just had a pretty good engaged top where they get that trade. Now 5k behind. Just look at that Wukong's command, beautifully placed. Nisha in a really awkward position in the center of it. Almost escaped, but not quite. And I feel like when the Leshrac dies, Secret's teamfight just is over, right? Like, it just falls so incredibly flat, not just because of the way their lineup is structured, but because of how much of the net worth they're sitting on is on this hero. He just really has to be protected at all costs to get his stuff out. And that time, Nisha does get picked off and just snowballs the fight in LGD's favor, no problem.
Secret smoking up to the enemy jungle. Faith Beyond. They see him
far out.
Yep. Maneuvers himself to the other side. Might have missed out on the vision there. No, they saw him. Resolution with a nice rebound. Here comes the Solar Guardian as well, but the Avalanche mitigating a lot of this right now. As Crystal is focusing down Jin Q for the time being, as Faith Beyond looks to be dead. Just one more right click to go. So nice pick off for Secret. Ame, next to his tier 2 tower, has to pop the BKB. Wukong's command to follow. Now there's no physical damage go through this with that BKB activated, but they can try to continue on here once the BKB ends up running out. Wise can take the brunt of the damage now from the Starbreaker. So Secret getting everything they want. Ame the only one left in this area. Looks like he does get away safely. That would have been just a disaster for PSG.LGD, but still, Secret going to be extremely happy with what happened here.
That looked like a really ambitious dive, but it works out very well. I don't think LGD were remotely ready for this to happen. Like the way their DP gets jumped. I think the just snap reaction there from ZQ on the Tiny was really impressive. He finds the blink into a good Avalanche, but did not buy enough space. No BKB yet on the DP. Couldn't get away from a lot of the damage and then gets run down by Resso. And they found, I believe they cut the trees of Ame as well. I think he took the long stun there. I believe we're going to see that potentially in the replay. So this is not a common attack angle here that Secret are going for with their lineup, right? So ZQ, notice that really quick blink Avalanche, really good job there. But Faith Beyond, that's that Resso BKB coming into play, how much that can do. Does finish off that kill. And on the left side, yeah, Ame gets cut out of the trees there. Stunned for a really long time. Fortunately for him, has BKB ult, or he would have died too. And this could have been tragic for LGD. Now it's only bad. Most of their lead evaporating there.
Yeah, pretty damn even game now as a result of that fight. Have yet to see the first Roche, by the way. think that's probably going to be the next thing on the menu for both sides if they can get to that. Faith Beyond, he is about to pick up his BKB. That is going to be pretty massive.
That's huge, and it's worth noting as well what Ame went for. I don't think we've highlighted the Mage Slayer, but obviously an amazing item against Lash, right? I think it's part of the reason that Ame doesn't die in that situation when he gets cut out of the trees. Having that magic resistance really helps, and obviously when you do hit the Lash, getting that magic damage reduction as well. But that said, Nisha popping, or rather revealing a BKB in the coming fight could become massive for Secret here.
LGD in the pit. Exorcism already popped.
Zayat
is going to spot it. The Spike Carapace comes out, double impale. Tiny's just dead right off the bat. And now the focus is on Ame. He goes down to the post though, but no buyback for the Monkey King as Y. He's going to get chased now by Nisha. And a huge fight for Secret. We'll see if they can go into the pit and get this Roche, but the toss back from Jin Q. Avalanche is there as well. Resolution gets deleted, so maybe not with the numbers. Buyback now onto the Lich. Puppey attempting to TP out, he'll be fine.
Pretty damn impressive that LGD managed to salvage that. Like, consider how that fight began. They sent in the 4 Nyx, they immediately killed the enemy carry, as well as the Lich, and that still turns out somewhat even in the end. It is big, though, that the Exorcism was expended and the BKB for Faith Beyond. Of course, that's a really crucial moment there that LGD could have converted into something big, but I guess at the very least for them with how that started, things could have gone way worse. So look inside. I mean, also kind of a blunder. Where's the Sentry?
That's true.
You're playing against Nyx and you're taking Roche. This is, I would say for LGD, maybe a little bit disappointing considering the level this team usually plays at. Just a little bit cocky, really going for that without putting a Sentry Ward down in that area to protect them from this potential move. And I think it got placed now, so they do have it for the next Roche fight. It is ready against Zayas, but that definitely did catch them off guard there. Like, imagine that exact situation with the Sentry. I actually think they just get the Roche.
Yeah, we've got another toss back. This time it's onto Puppey. It's going to be canceled a bit here. That's the Starbreaker, so it's a 1-for-1 on the supports. I mean, Exo's still down for a minute. Not sure if Secret will have time to try to take advantage, as we're going to see a blink now onto Nisha.
That's a dieback on GQ, by the way.
That's true, a full minute.
And Secret are getting insane value out of Zayas on the Nyx, just like in the first game. I think it's really... The Carapace is causing issues. You see the Tiny there wanting to go in and just gets countered very quickly. Zayas in the right place at the right time a lot in these games.
And Resolution, I believe the Basher is on the way, so
that's huge.
Will do a lot of damage.
It gives him the possibility of preventing Monkey King from playing the game, right?
Oh, wow.
If you do get the right setup without Wukong's command down, Marcy can beat Monkey fight straight up. This is huge for Secret though. Don't think. I mean, do LGD even try this?
Exo is up in 5.
It's too late.
Yeah, looks like it's too late.
Awesome play call here from Secret to go for this. They know Tiny has no buyback.
Oh, they're trying to jump Faith Beyond. Frost Shield's going to keep him healthy for a little longer. Pops the BKB. Do they have the physical damage to go through? But Monkey King with the balance strike. Ame comes to play. Bash applied to Resolution now, but the rebound onto the other side of the river. He'll be fine, but Nisha looks like he wants to try to fight. Gets off the Yules. Faith Beyond now on the outskirts of this fight. That is a dead Lash, but that is just the Aegis. Exorcism still going. Zayats gets the Impale onto 1, but now they're trying to turn this around onto the Monkey King. There's the Starbreaker from Chrysalis, and that is the death of Ame. 50 seconds on the deck. And PSG.LGD, they get the Aegis technically out of the hands of Secret, but it does cost them.
Yeah, it's almost a repeat of the previous moment, right? Where a bad start gets turned into something salvageable for LGD. Like, it's not great by any means to lose the Roche there, but as you said, they do get rid of the Aegis. And I mean, not a spell we hype up a lot in general, but Frost Shield just coming up huge in this fight for keeping Faith Beyond alive here as he does get jumped there. So you see the instant Frost Shield here makes the difference. If he dies there, this is just all over. Gets the BKB off, gets the Siphons running. Awesome 3-man stun coming in from Ame from the tree line there with that Boundless. And Resso fortunate enough to have a good spell to get out
Every time I saw, we're going to see the Avatars come out onto Puppey. Is it going to be punished though? Chrysalis comes in with the hammer. Starbreaker's there as well, and Jin Q dies. 45 seconds of no Tony. And Y? Going to be spotted out. The glimpse back. And it looks like Y will be next. So 2 supports down in favor of Secret.
Yeah. Basher on both sides. You pointed out the Marcy one. Now we have one on the Monkey King as well. So really crucial item for potentially locking down the Lash or the Marcy to keep them in that arena. As we've seen, Resso just resets a lot of the time, just jumps away on the Nyx most of the time. And maybe with this Basher, Ame can keep them a little bit more in place. Eyeing up a Scotty next for more healing reduction against the Lash. And, you know, that reliable slow to once again stick.
Nothing to say, Impale is there, the stun from Resolution with the Basher as well. Nothing to say, has to use BKB. Let the glimpse back, they're gonna find the support. No, Faith Beyond pops the BKB as well. But this is both in defensive measures as Resolution finds the distance because he's playing Marcy. And down goes Nothing to Say. 3K lead now for Secret. And Nisha working on the Shivas next. He's going to get outpost control in the PSG.LGD jungle. Ame looking for the support, but Zayats is there to try to counteract this. Solar Guarding coming in as well. Ame pops the BKB along with Chrysalis, but Starbreaker deletes Y from the face of the map, and now they're inside Wukong's command.
No bash.
Have to get the hell out of there as Resolution looks like he's going to live, uses the rebound to get a little bit extra distance. Zayats and company now focusing down Faith Beyond on the Death Prophet. Another valuable kill and another valuable fight for Secret.
Yeah, they're going to turn this into mid-tier 2 as well. So, yeah, huge that they managed to find the fight with Zeus dead, right? It's just, it's a lot easier for Secret to take this fight when they just get the initiation and don't have to worry too much about that counterplay. So this looks pretty good, but
it does.
They just have so quick reactions on the Dawn and the Nyx. Again, this pairing that Secret have been running in Game 1 and Game 2 now is really paying off. And crucial for Resto that he doesn't get bashed. Any bash in that Monkey King arena, he's dead. So a little bit of luck on his side as well there to get out. And all of a sudden, man, this game has swung around in a big way. I feel like it's 5 minutes ago that LGD were ahead by 5K, and now they're down by 8. Goes fast sometimes in Dota when you win these big fights, and Secret, probably with this advantage that they have right now, if they can keep their cool and keep building up their Lesh, the next Roche you would imagine could go their way, and that one could open up for high ground. Like you pointed out in the last game, LGD is a team that plays really, really well from behind, one of the best in the world at that. They will try just that immediately now. No DP ults. They're actually going for a 5-man offensive smoke with Faith Beyond with best ability. I mean, it's debatable. Maybe Spirit Siphon is his best ability, but, you know. True. Puppy. If they want him, he's dead. They do.
Okay, Avatar. Zayas wants to come in, though. They've lost Puppy already. Does have the buyback available. His Thunder God's Wrath is there. Looks like Zayas is going to barely limp away, but no, Nothing to Say there to finish him off. Now, Resolution, he's taking so much damage. The rebound onto the other side of the map again. Rezo is fine. 70 seconds of no Nyx. Must have been a dieback technically.
Puppy.
Static Storm. Okay. Enough to take out Jin Q. Very cocky play from Puppy, but it kind of works out. But again, if they get the kill, this will technically be a dieback for him. Boundless Strike, and it looks like it will be just that. But there's no Roche to get.
There's that Glimpse buff. That's not a kill without the damage.
That is a good point.
He killed Tiny with Glimpse there, so yeah, it's not great. To get a dieback just to kill out Jin Q. I mean, his net worth in this game is not particularly impressive on that. Tiny has had a lot of deaths in these fights, 2 and 8 currently on him. And it gives more than anything for LGD. They made a smoke without EXO. They finally win a fight, and they get a little bit of breathing room, which I think is crucial. You're closing in on some pretty big moments. Monkey King is not too far from level 20. Faith Beyond is close to level 18 as well. Nothing to Say also not that far from 20. And you look over at the Secret heroes, Nisha obviously with level 22, well ahead in that on that front, having that strong talent on 20. And Rezo actually breaks his 18 now as well, so important to look out for these key levels coming both sides' way. And I believe Nisha is level 17. What the hell? Remember his start?
Yes, that's level 2 at like 7.5 minutes.
That's a good recovery. Oh, gets the Carapace!
Very good initiation, but Jin Q is there with the Avalanche. Will it be enough? No. Nothing to Say goes down to another member of Secret. That Starbreaker has been deleting heroes, and of course you've said it time and time again. Zayats has been setting up every single initiation, and the fact that they can do it across the map with a hero like Dawnbreaker is insane.
It's just a great read that he thinks Zeus is going to go there and use Hard Lightning, right? So he can get that Carapace stun off, and then they use that immediately to chain. Just very, very nicely played by Secret. Pretty much perfect layering of the stuns, too. Just a little bit of a mistake there. Maybe you get BKB off and jump away on the Zeus, but none of that out of the way of Secret, so yeah, they've really had his number this game. I mean, it's not like it's an awful scoreline to be 9-5-8 on Zeus, but it just feels like the Carapace has been his big bane this game. Yeah, so many times getting caught off by this Nyx that he did choose to pick it into, which is worth pointing out. Like, they picked Zeus knowing that Nyx was in the game, and it is a double-edged matchup, right? Zeus also has the Obviously, the true sight coming out from Lightning Bolt could be handy, and the ult to find the Nyx, but he makes the first move.
And that hasn't really come into play. I think
Not really.
one time that it's actually come into play in this game.
Zayas has been playing an outstanding series.
Absolutely. This is one of the greatest Nyx performances I've seen in a long time. This hero was kind of just not in play from, I want to say, like previous TIs. It feels like it's just fallen off the map, but this year it's kind of come back with a vengeance.
Yep.
As Nisha now has his Shivas, and his net worth separation between 1 and 2 is absurd. 7K, my goodness.
Yep.
He's not afraid to go to the high ground as the rest of Secret are going to smoke up.
LGD would love to not fight for the next 300 golden army. Just get that Scotty. It's a really big game changer for them to get that unlocking. It's going to help them so much against the Lesh as long as he gets to play the fight on the MK. Look how much they're covering him. It's like
Resolution with the double damage, by the way. Nothing to say is dead. And they're stunned onto several heroes. Now 2 dead for LGD to just start out the fight. Another Starbreaker, but now Crystallis and company outside the Wukong's command. The glimpse back onto Faith Beyond, and he is dead. Triple kill for Resolution. There are all buybacks available for LGD, so Secret have to be a bit careful with this. And why? He's going to die inside his own base. He is the one lone member of LGD without the buyback at the moment. So 12K lead for Secret. Roche is available, and we'll see if they try to go for that before trying to push high ground.
Correct me if I'm wrong, did they set up that fight with a Reso jump? Was he just jumped on the Zeus, right?
His rebound, I don't know about the initial one.
I think he blinked with ult on and just instantly bashed the Zeus and basically killed him 100 to 0 with a DD. I think that's what happened, right? I was like, okay, he just disappeared on the Zeus. He has no armor. Actually, he has negative armor because he's the Nether Shawl.
That's true.
We're going to see the replay. Okay, this is the tail end of it. I believe it was Reso setting it up himself that time, but either way, just it's extremely explosive, the Secret lineup, when they get the jump. You have to be so quick as LGD to counteract it with Glimmer Cape, with Frost Shield, or the hero just disappears. Yeah. One of Marcy's biggest strengths in Pro Dota is that the damage comes out so quickly that it's almost inhuman to react to it in key moments. Right there, the Zeus just didn't get to play. Nothing to say. Part of me feels like you should buy Aeon Disc here. I think going Octarine is maybe, like, it's a glass half full kind of, or glass half empty kind of approach. Like, how are you thinking about this? Is it, okay, I'm not going to get caught and I will have maximum impact, or is it, all right, I kind of have to cover my bases? It doesn't feel good to buy BKB and Disc, but I mean, look at how the fights are going, right?
I think technically, if you think you're going to survive, that's considered glass half full.
Yeah, but that's not really what's happening. So I think that's what I'm saying. The Octarine is the glass half full approach, but that's not what's been happening, right? So I think you have to.
Why?
Out. No, he's toast.
They're going to see him unleash, and a couple of right clicks from Resolution.
Okay.
Will do the job. He has a Crystallis right now, not his teammate. And he's actually pretty well into the data list, so I think just a recipe away essentially from finishing that. Obviously, buyback is going to be kind of paramount for every Secret, or every hero in this game at this stage. 17K lead now for Secret. Aegis advantage. We didn't talk about the shard, but it was taken by Nisha, which one of those weird shard, obviously very powerful, the splitters being, I mean, a lot of time we think about like high ground defense, but when you're going high ground yourself, it's actually not too shabby as well. Avalanche here, Wukong's command expended. Is it just for Puppey, though? Looks like it is for now, as Nisha, and he's perfectly fine to try to fight this out on the other side of the Wukong's command. Here comes a Solar Guardian as well. Faith Beyond is dead. Let the toss back onto Nisha, but now the Wukong's command is down. The BKB finally activate for Ami. He gets a big boundless strike. A lot of damage coming out from Nothing to Say. So they get the 2 supports in the end, but now Nothing to Say, he's the one getting pursued by Nisha. Split Earth connects. Pulse Nova continuing to go in again. The Aegis still intact for Secret. Frost Shield not going to mitigate any of that magic damage, and the Starbreaker is enough. Another death for Nothing to Say, and 2 cores dead for LGD with no buybacks.
Yeah, he actually finally got to play a fight on the Zeus, so we got to see something come out of him in the way of damage there. But again, Secret just pouncing so strongly in these fights now. And that one felt like a net worth lead win, right? If they don't have a big advantage here, this fight is going to go LGD's way. But Secret have built themselves such a fundamental lead now that they can even make a couple of mistakes here or there if necessary, but they're not really doing that. It still feels very, very clean. I love the confidence from Nisha too. I mean, sure, he has Aegis. I think he would have done that anyway, honestly. He's like, oh, Wukong's command is down and I'm not in it. I'm invincible. I can do whatever I want. And he just runs outside it and starts chasing heroes down. Now looking for the first lane of barracks here. Overwhelming Blink obviously will make it very easy for him to, first of all, be tanky and also set up his own stun.
And Nisha, he's level 25.
Toss back.
Toss back. That's something you have to be a little bit careful, but he pops the BKB, and Jin-Q is punished really hard. So it's going to not connect thanks to BKB from Faith Beyond. Just the buyback now to Jin-Q. That'd be careful because Nothing to Say is now available to fight. They're going to try to turn this around as Resolution jumps in with his BKB, focusing down Ame, but the Wukong's command can give him so much armor as Resolution gets destroyed. 80 seconds of no mercy. Another falls for Secret as PSG.LGD showing some life here. They find 3 kills with no reciprocation.
Toss MVP.
What is their Abrasive doing down there?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe someone's gonna.
All right, Jin-Q deletes it. Very nice.
Would have been funny if they gave someone buyback, but not the case. Yeah, Toss is everything there. They can't get Nisha into a bad position in any other way. And you saw he was expecting the play too. He was like, I'm gonna get tossed here. I'm gonna BKB. I'm gonna kill Tiny, which is what they did. But it set up enough time for LGD to connect and. Maybe his teammate's a little bit too eager to help here. I think he's actually fine.
Yeah, he's definitely.
And he can reset out of this. With Rezo getting that kill on the Tiny, Secret can full disengage here, but they kind of do get baited in again. I think this jump from Rezo is really putting him in an awkward spot where Monkey King can finally isolate him. And there's a bash, and that's the kill.
Yeah, and using the rebound offensively means you have no escape mechanism.
Exactly. I think Secret could have actually got a pretty big win there by just
disengaging once the Exo was popped.
Yeah, trading their Aegis away for the Tiny buyback and then getting out.
So LGD winning a very important fight, and the Aegis was never used, so it's going to expire on its own accord here in 20 seconds. Question is, what is the next item for Nisha? He has the Overwhelming Blink.
Wind Waker queued up.
Okay.
I guess it's really nice to save his teammates out of Wukongs, right? He can get Rezo out of trouble.
He's probably the primary hero that will be in jeopardized positions. Hex is also something he is looking at.
I mean, the problem with using on a teammate, you can't move it, right? It only moves on yourself. So you can't really get out of Wukong. So it's just literally a Yules.
It's just buying time is just important.
An extra couple seconds.
Yeah, it makes a pretty big difference. But
Nisha still with a ridiculous net worth lead right now. But at what point, is there a point that Lesh falls off at all? I mean, the Diabolic Edict explosion, we didn't really talk about the 25 town. That is something you just can't let him get close to buildings.
I mean, I guess something Nisha doesn't have is a refresher. If you want to look at it from that perspective, like how do you solve the hero? If he doesn't have Aegis and doesn't have refresher, he is susceptible when BKB runs out. Zeus has a lot of damage. You have no magic resistance. I guess that's kind of untrue. You have Cloak of Flame, so a little bit, but it's not that much. And if you get caught by a Scotty trail from Monkey...
of refresher, Ame does have one.
He has it, yep.
And they are smoked up.
Even after the nerfs, you can easily afford this. If you go Scotty, it's something, especially we've seen Faceless Voids in the past go for as a build-up to refresh.
He's going to be the one that gets popped here, but pops the BKB very early. Gets off the Slurra, trying to play around it, but the Jingo's about to proc here as well. The Wukong's command is there, and Nisha has to use the Yules on himself. But he's likely just going to be left alone, and he's going to be brought down. A huge kill for LGD. There are buybacks for both remaining members here from Secret.
You really have to be on your toes against this team. Like, you have a big lead, sure, but this is the one thing that can't happen for Secret is that they find Lesh without support. Like, if anyone else is in that line of fire, it's not that bad. Like, you could have lost a Nyx there, you could have lost a Marcy, you could have lost a Disruptor, but Nisha cannot get out once he gets slowed down by that Scotty. He has no... I think that's probably why he is considering this Wind Waker, is he needs it for himself. He has to have some sort of way of repositioning and buying time and getting out.
That's fair.
And with the BKB expended, you see it afterwards. He's just getting chain locked until he dies. Protection just wasn't there. That's a big dent in Secret's lead. That was about 6k net worth from 2 kills in a tower. So it is still well within reach for LGD to solve this.
I mean, 11k at this stage is really not that. I mean, it's literally on Nisha, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much his net worth lead. So yeah, that's true.
One thing I do want to mention, we're a bit far. It's 2k away, but Puppey, Aghanim Scepter, halfway there. That is something that can just win the game, essentially.
Yeah, he has some good setup, right? He has the Nyx. Oh, speaking of.
Yeah, Solar Guardians there. Looks like Jin-Q will die. 90 seconds of no Tiny here.
Never safe pushing a side lane against these two.
And a quick TP's out. Ame not going to pursue any further.
They're immediately going again. It's like, oh, we get the kill, they TP back, now they smoke and look for another move. So, quick plays here from Team Secret. Lesh obviously will be able to connect here with Travels if they find a move on the side lane near bot, but nobody is showing. From LGD wisely staying tight-knit here. It is historically and just generally the way to handle Nyx is to not split up too much, especially if he has a global presence, right? A classic combination is Nyx Invoker, you get the stun combo into Sunstrike, and that's kills. If you play tight like this with Sentry Wards, it's a lot harder for Zayas to find the impact.
Very synced up on those Shivas there. Faith Beyond versus Nisha, but the BKB prevents the glimpse from being used.
Rezzo's thinking. Oh,
he's going in. He gets the bash to start things out, and Faith Beyond is evaporated here. And now they're going to get the Lich on top of it. Has to buy back. And we can see that Roche is available. I'm not sure if they're aware. And this is the one with the Aghanim Scepter, which gives you that 6k net worth injection, essentially.
Dude, that's so dirty. Like, think of how tanky the Death Crop is. 4k health with a Shiva.
You have to get Eon Disc.
Rezzo literally just blinked in and killed him in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Daedalus, Unleash.
And I think when the Tiny is dead, that is their combo breaker, right? That's the thing that's been kind of like the Avalanche or the toss back to get the fear. When he's dead, I don't think there's anything they need to fear when going in. And that's going to be another Roche for Secret. And this is going to be Nihilism, I would assume, onto Nisha. We'll see who ends up taking the Aghanim Scepter.
Holding it on Nyx.
Okay.
He's not used it, though.
Puppy's 800 from finishing it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah,
not consumed it. I mean,
I guess they're debating what to do right
now. Yeah, it's actually a tough decision. Nyx's Ags is incredibly good. The question is, how much value are you going to get on Nihilism? I mean, it's really good as well.
Yeah, it's not the best Nihilism game, though, right? It's good against Monkey King, but... I don't know. Maybe they're just never going to use it. I wonder what the win rate is of Aghanim's Blessing unconsumed. It's got to be pretty high.
Great stat, yeah, I'm sure. Get somebody working on that one.
He's literally, it is inflating his net worth right now. So he's literally just walking around with higher net worth.
No,
game.
It doesn't inflate until you consume it. Okay, he just consumed it.
It did. His net worth was the same.
There's no way.
Yeah.
I refuse to believe
He was carrying around 6k gold. All right, he finally uses it.
All right, so now you get a buff to every skill and burrow. You become a lurker. Hopefully that's not trademark or I might get fired here. So Secret, PSG.LGD, 25k lead for Secret, but it doesn't, sometimes it hasn't really felt like that based on LGD just making brilliant moves. That last one really hurt.
It did, and they hit a huge breaking point here. They get 25 on Dawnbreaker. This is such an it is one of the best talents in the whole game, in my opinion. Just so strong to get a second free Starbreaker. You have the BKB death, so you're guaranteed to get 2 of them off. You're playing against one Monkey King Basher. It's the only counter that the enemy team has to your Starbreakers going off, so Chrysalis will do massive damage, and as we've seen time and time again in this game, plenty of setup where that comes from his teammates. Both Rezzo and Zayas will be happy to just jump in and give him 2 Starbreakers to get a key kill.
And not only that, I mean, the other side, we have Heart on Faith Beyond, very big item, but the Aghanim Scepter was officially purchased now by Puppy, so
you know what
muting of items.
They don't have a Force Step.
And on PSG?
Yeah, that feels like an oversight to not have that item, right? I know you're playing against Glimpse, but you need some sort of way of getting out of Starbreaker, of getting out of away from us.
And they're going to jump in, Solar Guardian coming in at the end, and it looks like Faith Beyond might drop inside the Wukong's command, and I think you just try to reset. Zayas is going to live thanks to the Eon Disc and just burrow his way back to full HP. The Jin Q is dead as well without buyback available. Now they just wait out the Wukongs.
Oh, he got the stun again.
He's going to go in again with Chrysalis' Starbreaker, decimating time and time again. But there's Ame's Refresher, Wukong's command to follow. Chrysalis eats the cheese, tries to get Force Staff, but not going to live through this engagement. They did find Niche, okay. Gets off the heels, but instantly canceled.
Dude,
that was a neutral item.
It's actually doing work.
But they got the tower, but nothing more.
Well, they got a Zeus buyback too.
All right, he has Wind Waker, like you said. That was the Stormcraft, so he has 2 ways to dispel.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a nullifier or something, just canceling it out, but just the baby Yules. And Secret continuing to pursue. Fortification is popped, and Splitter's aplenty being applied. And now they know that there's no Wukong's command. Refresher already used on Ame. Did he also pop BKB? No. So he has his second BKB now.
This is just not a safe push whatsoever with DP and especially Tiny respawning. I really like from Secret that they disengage here and don't try to get those barracks. I think the risk reward just isn't favoring you nearly enough. Go back, play the map, get your spells ready, get your heroes back in play, and try to find another pick outside the base and use that to get the racks instead. So, yeah. I mean, LGD, they do hold on, but it feels like it's expensive every single time. This time, getting that Zeus buyback out, he doesn't have disc, and he's still not considering it. He's eyeing up the Hex. Okay, finally, he changed his mind. So will take the defensive route here to ensure that he can at least stay alive for a moment. Faith Beyond!
Uh-oh. Inside the Static Storm. Remember, he can't use any items inside of it, and he's dead. 90 seconds of no death profit. Ame trying to get some revenge, but Resolution ends up using Rebound to the other side. Only one inside Wukong's command right now, but 3 dead for PSG.LGD. And now Ame looks to be next. The Starbreaker is coming just for him. Specialty from Secret. He has to buy back instantly. Now Resolution with the dispose, onto nothing to say, has to pop the BKB himself, but this looks like it might be the beginning of the end for LGD in this upper bracket. Rebound not proc there, but again, Chrysalis with the Starbreaker. And this is going to be several sets of racks, if not potentially GG.
Faith Beyond just disappears. It's like LGD want to access this high ground. They're like, what hero can we send in first that can possibly survive? And he should be the choice, right? You have Heart, Shiva, BKB. He dies before he gets BKB off. He literally just gets killed 100 to 0. Even with Lich's protection, it wasn't enough.
Oh, Zayats finds Ame. This is going to be a dieback for him, potentially. And it will. Double Starbreaker. GG is called. And Secret 2-0 PSG.LGD, sending them to the lower bracket. And they're going to face off against Thunder Predator. My goodness. I don't think anybody was expecting that potential matchup in the upper bracket, but wow, what a series from Secret.
Yeah, my prediction so far, great. 0 out of 2 in the bracket, so that's, yeah, what a, I mean, I'm not going to say it's a shocker. I don't feel like LGD going into today was like a massive favorite, especially when you saw on the group stage. Secret's been playing some really solid Dota, but I love the strategy they brought to the table today. I think the way they combined their Nyx Dawnbreaker really stifled LGD's moves that they wanted to make, and yeah, I'm just really, really impressed with Secret today, so going to be an interesting match in the upper bracket next.
Cyborg Matt, very happy. Love that guy, one of the best people in Dota for sure. But Jenkins, not so much. Let's go to him and the rest of the great panel we have over in Norway.
It's a good year. Welcome back to the International. I'm your host, James Too Good Harding, and I'm sorry I'm not Shiva. We've had problems with, well, no, wait, wrong time. We're getting ready to go into talking about the next game soon. My adrenaline is killing me. I haven't been on camera for 8 years since I hosted the International, and I'm very, very excited to be back. If you wonder where I was, it was low prio. Not sure who reported me, but I'm here now, and we're going to be introducing our draft soon with the next game. But first, we're going to go and introduce the panel. Oh my God, guys! I can't believe I'm back. I'm so
welcome back.
But introducing you in an order of popularity, undisclosed. Next to me, T Governor. Welcome to the panel. Welcome to TI. How are you?
It's great. It's so good to be back at TI. The excitement that previous game, I don't know. It's same as you. It's just like, woo.
Yeah, I mean, that game was amazing. Having to walk on and do a little bit, even though it was a short bit, I was like, oh my God, am I actually here? And I think a lot of the players as well are super excited to be here. And, you know, Team Secret done amazing to come from the last chance qualifiers. Also welcoming to the panel, uncontested, you're here just because of your energy, your enthusiasm. It's Lizard.
Hello. Yes.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And rounding out the panel.
So good.
Rounding out the panel. Your bit was way better than mine. Rounding out the panel, our encyclopedia. I've been chatting with you a little bit about all the teams. You've given me so much knowledge already. Hopefully I get to use a little bit of it if I make it into day 2, which we'll be focusing on in a moment with the lower bracket matches, elimination. It's Sheepstick. Welcome to the panel at TI.
Thank you. My first TI, I'm so excited. I mean, I was happy to talk your ear off the entirety of yesterday, just about, yeah, this team's cool, this team's cool. They said this and this and this, and you're just like, yeah, That's great. Yeah, I haven't been here in 8 years, so.
Well, I've got a lot of catching up to do, and actually that's okay because some of the members who join us in this stage, this is the main stage, right? Not everybody got to see the group stages. You know, you come in for the main stage, and you know that's really where the stories kind of get told. But to learn, from the pre-stories of the group stages, how they've played, and also the 3 seasons that they had to play to get into this tournament, it's been a hell of a year for some of these players, and unironically. We will just wrap up this secret game in a moment, but I want to say, unironically, Bruno, yes, you put me on the elimination matches. Very funny, but I do have a lot of empathy for those teams that are fighting for day 2, as you can imagine. But let's go into the highlights and kind of talk a little bit about Secret versus LGD. Did people predict that Secret should come out 2-0 going into this? Because PSG.LGD looked fantastic. I know Secret had a great group as well, though.
I don't think anyone predicted this game to go as easily for Secret as it went, right?
Yeah. 100%. Like, this is the first time in the last 4 years that the PSG.LGD organization hasn't made it to the round 2 of upper bracket. They've always been that kind of staple in recent TI history, and now they're in the lower bracket trying to get armored that TI win.
It's honestly like super rough to see them drop this far. I think a lot, or most people would have predicted them to go further, but Secret, I mean, if there's a team that was going to take them out this early, I think Secret is that team. They've been really exciting coming up and running through the open quals the way they did.
Yeah, even though they went through the qualifiers, they actually have taken a series off of the team that's kind of the GOAT, right? The PSG.LGD, they're the team that everyone is looking for the grand finals. They're the ones that should be winning the upper bracket, but Secret came in, said no, pretty much.
Yeah, and one of the members of Secret that's been playing so well is Chrysalis. He came out with the Dawnbreaker twice here, but we're going to go over and actually have a chat with him as Casey has a winner's interview.
We're here with Chrysalis. Chrysalis, congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
So exciting to watch, and I know that you guys came in from Last Chance Qualifier after a pretty tough season. When you joined, when Puppy asked you to join, did you anticipate this would be the road to TI, and why do you think you guys have been able to turn things around so easily?
I mean, when Puppy invited me, I think TI was definitely still the main goal, right? We wanted to come here to win TI. That's why I joined. That was our plan from the beginning. And although DPC went kind of bad, we did in the end, I think sort everything out. And now that we're at TI, we're feeling very, very good.
And 2 of the shortest games ever, I swear.
Yeah, I mean, one of the shortest games, right? The second one was pretty long. The second one was a bit more fun to watch, I'd say as well.
That's true, that's true. Thank you so much, and good luck. Thunder Awaken was hoping to face PSG.LGD, so
Bad luck for them.
See you later, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Once again, congratulations to Team Secret moving on into the upper bracket. A full packed day today. We've got 4 lower bracket games, and we're going to be getting ready to bring out the teams momentarily. But these matches just mean so much. One best of one, and then that's it.
Classic TI. It's the scary games. Tomorrow, back to normal, but today.
I mean, yeah, it's terrifying. You look at the group stages and how many of these series went 1-1, right?
Looks like the teams are ready to come out, and it's going to be Beast Coast.
Beast Coast.
Beast Coast making their way onto the stage, the first time in the main stage of this TI. A fantastic team representing South America. K1, Chris Luck, Whisper, Schofield, and Stinger. And, how many people know about Beast Coast? Just probably not you, Sheepstick.
No, I know nothing about this team. Way more about Hikori.
And here we have Hikori. As you can see, today we're getting ready and really moving this along to get the players on stage and into the matches. Luminaire, Analog, Vitali. Very hard to say everyone's names here. I'm still catching up. Gardic and...
Tio.
Tio. Yeah. I like his name being Tio as well. So
it's his pub name. He's got his formal name, he's got his pub name.
Well, one of the interesting things about Tio, wasn't he the player that has been on the team and off the team?
So Fiorico Hokori's had some changes for sure. I think the main ones that carry at least was Lumiere. He wasn't playing in the final season DPC. That was actually Yuma, who's a Belgian/South American player, really cool. But yeah, they're a team that made roster changes coming into last chance qualifier. They didn't have any real good results in front DPC, and then suddenly they just make this undefeated lower bracket run, and here they are.
Yeah, and it's really good that you do mention Tio, because he's the only one in this team that has been around pretty much forever. And I say he's young, he's 23, but still has been around for 6-7 years.
It's amazing. I feel so bad to say he's been around forever and he's 23 years old. Thank you, Lizard.
In the Dota world, man, 8
you just
years.
added a couple more gray hairs.
8 years, that's a century, you know.
Luminaire, you know, the carry for Hokori. A lot of people say, like, you know, South America just bring out these amazing carry players, and is he someone to watch? Is that, you know, in this best of one, is his performance going to, you know, really matter, so to speak?
Yeah, he is a very, very improved player. In the past, he was very much this 4P1 Ricer type carry, and since then he's expanded his playstyle incredibly. It was even in sort of the span of like 4 months. He's very like dedicated, hard worker, trying to get to this point, and I think he's showing it off really hard here on this TI stage.
Yeah, there he is. Only 21 years of age, and it's interesting to see how they evolve. You know, playing behind your team in that 4v1 kind of position as a carry, and now having to get more and more involved. But is that what you've seen? Is the meta kind of like this big team fight? You can't really protect a, you know, anti-mage for a long time, or a PA? Is it really just like we need to, you know, we all have to participate if we're going to push, you know, the other team to their limits?
I think it's about finding that balance where you can go for these carries that are more scaling, but they need to be ready to join that 15-minute fight, to have like an earlier timing. So it's why you're seeing, like, for example, anti-mage is non-existent, because you see him at 30-45 minutes in the game, right? But these other kind of harder carries, they do have like avenues to get into the game, be it the morphlings, the Svens, these more kind of greedier cores.
And just look at the group stages, look at the games that they've played so far. They won versus OG, versus LGD, versus RNG. They 2-0'd RNG, so Hokori, they're definitely a team that has adjusted to the meta.
And I just want to say for Hokori though, they're the only team now with Brazilian players on it. With Sonnets going out, that was one Brazilian player gone. Now they have 2 players with Analog and Fiolacor. If this team gets eliminated, then Brazil, an historical, very prominent, you know, nation to bring Dota players into, you know, TI and DPC, they're going to be completely out. So, you know, a whole nation now is going to be watching this game, trying to support Hokori through the lower bracket.
Yeah, they went 2-5-2 in the group stages. Their opponents, Beast Coast, we're going to spend a little time introducing them. They went 2-4-3. Wins, the only wins they got were over TSM and Talon, which were both eliminated teams from the group. So they haven't kind of been able to have that big victory yet over maybe an opponent that, you know, pushes them to their limits. So, Sheeps, you're looking at me like, something.
Come on.
All right, Sheepstick, let's go.
Okay.
Get your money's worth.
They've talked about it. They've been like, okay, at the beginning of this tournament, we lost. They feel to themselves. They felt like this new patch has come in. They all have different ideas. This is a team that's very feeling based. They all, you know, really feel their Dota. It's not so much methodically planned out. We're going to do this and this. So they felt that in the group stage at the beginning, we have different ideas. They're clashing with each other. They're not in cohesion and sync together. And as a result, they really struggled. They had disagreements.
What kind of clashes?
I mean, we
Some
don't
wanted
have
to win,
privy
and
to
others
that.
were like, nah.
It's the sort of idea of like we see teams coming in with this Leshrac and they think this is the best thing ever with Bloodstone, and then other teams are like, we want to prioritize stuff like Sniper, and when you have a clash of ideas like that, it kind of results in.
That's one of the scary things about group stages is like there's 2 kind of meta shifts I always find at TI, and it's fascinating to watch. And when I go back and play pubs, it's normally decided what I'm playing from TI. But group stages, people kind of figure each other out, and then younger teams or teams that aren't so confident start trying to copy some of the teams in groups, but it's not necessarily their play style. So some are like, yeah, we should be doing what they're doing. Look, they're winning games, and then that meta gets challenged during the main event. So do you think they, Beast Coast, kind of tried to look at other teams too much rather than, you know, what got them to TI in the first place?
I think it's hard to say for them specifically, just because in the past they're a team that's quite stubborn in terms of their drafting. You compare them to another South American team like Thunder Awaken, they are much more malleable to the meta, whereas Beast Coast are like, we're still going to play our Luna, we're still going to play our Bat if it's, you know, even if it's not good.
Hey, mention some Raid King, right?
Raid King, right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but James, things have changed a little bit when it comes to Dota, and teams aren't necessarily looking at these old giants any longer. Like the new blood, the newcomers, they're actually the ones that
It's
you
very
have.
patronizing, by the way. Please.
Hey, old man. Get with the times.
I'm really happy to be here today. You guys are the experts, and that's what you're here. But keep going, yes.
Like, no, seriously, like the young blood, they're the ones everyone is looking at right now. Like the pop stars, they're the ones like Crystallis. Look at him in the last game. Like he's the one that came up like a few years ago, pretty much, just spamming his Monkey King, and everyone is looking at him and what hero he's playing to copy.
Yeah, we saw Bloodseeker come out after, from other teams, I believe it was, after he had great success on it as well, Crystallis. But who from Beast Coast, should we kind of look at in a best of one? Where's the kind of rock? Who's the person that you expect for Beast Coast to kind of be like, this is who you're going to see perform, but if they don't perform, who's the backup? Because a lot of times, you're not always going to get the perfect game.
So when it comes to answer that question outside of the game, to refer to the same interview that Sheeple was talking about, Stinger
Sorry, I'm going to have to interrupt you, Lizard. We're ready to go into the game. Pick and bans are coming up. I got revenge.
Beast Coast versus Hokori. Game 1.
Welcome all you wonderful people out there. We do have a draft ready for you, and we have a best of one. Now, Gunnar, we've seen so many of these different games. Trent, we've seen a ton of them, and it gets down to the wire. In these inter-regional matchups, what are you guys looking for?
Beast Coast, they performed at TI before. They are a consistent team. I think Hokori, they've had a good group stage. They were good mentally. I've talked to a lot of players. They feel good, so it should be a good match.
It's a long road. They are a DPC story, as it were, right? This idea of starting at the very beginning, way back when, and they came at the bottom of a closed qualifier to start in Division 2.
Right.
And since then, it's been that steady rise and hard work with some of the same players being there the entire time.
They're Div 2 right now.
There you go. Yeah. Well, it's an up and down road. There's a lot of bumps along the way. Yeah.
But I think that this is the type of dynamic, too, where you see these inter-regional matchups, things might get a little bit crazy. They flew the entire other side of the world, and they're still just going to end up playing against each other again in this matchup. And so many times we've seen Hokori get taken down by Beast Coast. There's something there as well when we think about the pressure that TI puts on people. It's kind of similar to what we had last year with Virtus Pro and Spirit. How many games in a row, and then they were able to take it down?
30, I believe. Yeah. Hokori picked this matchup, so they kind of were confident going into this game, I believe. So picking an SA team, making another SA team, be eliminated.
Okay, all right. if this is you, all right, if you're the, would you pick another NA team? Would you do this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was for my chance of winning, yes.
So is that because you think it's we know them that much better, and you'd rather have that idea?
It's just confidence.
Yeah.
It's also, confidence bites you, right?
No.
You pick a team, you lose to that team, you're gonna always think.
Well, at least if you lose here, it doesn't really matter because you don't have to keep that motivation going, right? You lose here, the end of the road is already there, so you might as well try and get your big win to gas out the rest of your run.
My God.
Sorry, I've never done best of ones at TI.
We have to be a little nice here.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Well, we are into the draft now and getting it underway already with the Lesh Undying. Now, there's been so many different things going on in the group stages, and now we're kind of getting a meeting of these two separate groups together. Gunnar, is there anything that you've seen that's been standing out? Anything in these initial bans that really speaks to you from these teams?
Primal Beast is out. Kind of surprising. Leshrac as well. In the last series, Leshrac looked really strong. So they probably, you watch the games, you get worried about a hero. They play.
Yeah.
I think Primal Beast is probably going to be contested. I don't know how much these teams value it, but even versus Enigma.
Yeah, I was thinking that Beast Coast, they played quite well. I feel like, I've seen a lot of pubs from their players as well, so I kind of expected it to be addressed here because Hokori, from what I've seen, have not been playing the hero. So, they're obviously quite ready for it right now. Maybe we'll see Disruptor, Counter Answer or something if they opt for it here, but very likely the hero that Beast Coast is thinking of.
It's just a stable hero. It can go pretty much 3 lanes. It can go position 4, it can go mid, it can go off lane. So it's kind of a flex hero people will pick. But right now they have to worry about this Enigma.
They want that hot stuff, They want that that hero who just keeps winning. Crystal Maiden looking so strong so far.
This one is scary. I think that the thing that's so interesting to me is seeing what it is that each of these different groups prioritizes as well. I want to see if Dawnbreaker comes in. Obviously been something of an interesting answer to Enigma at various points, but the Tiny that now gets taken for Beast Coast, they can play this in so many different positions as well.
Yeah, it gives them. They can even play a carry if they want to.
Yeah.
I don't know if they will, but it gives them a way to kind of have something to deal with the Eidolons. Enigma's just a Zoo hero. Zoos are pretty strong right now. Visage, Enigma. And being able to deal with it kind of fixes your dress. And right now they already have 2 supports. If you're going to assume these are supports, they can deal with lanes, they can shove lanes. So it's kind of going to counter push that. And then the Hikori Shadow Fiend.
Okay, it's coming back. Didn't have a very good morning. The Shadow Fiend, of course.
No.
You know, was something that EG had been leaning on pretty hard throughout the group stage. Took them to the top.
And a lot of teams have actually been leaning on this hero a lot.
Yeah.
It gets picked early, and it's just a stable hero. It can go 2 lanes. Partnered with Marcy a lot. I think that's where it's most successful, but it's banned out already. You try to pick it with these melee heroes, Clockwork as well. I think you might see a ban. The Tiny's already picked, so they're going to aim for one of these heroes. And again, to prep for that, they're probably going to ban these Visages, the Zoos, because that's generally what beats the Clockworks of the world.
Yeah, Hikori only having dropped 2 games so far with the Shadow Fiend. As I said, you know, almost always taking it in the first phase. In fact, they're taking every single time in the first phase, and they've already found themselves 5 wins. So looking pretty good.
I mean, that does also give a certain amount of confidence, right? If you are Beast Coast here, you're saying, we're going to let you have what you want, and we're going to try and come up with the counter. Very curious if that Morph lane that we saw have a ton of success earlier is going to get taken by Beast Coast, or if Hikori are going to even let it get through. Gunnar, you're something of a Morph lane player yourself. Thoughts on that matchup?
So we've seen the Morph versus Enigma in that lane. I've actually seen it go pretty heavy both ways, so it's kind of a risk when you pick it, but especially when they already have this Crystal Maiden who's good. I think an 18 Morph could be a little scary. Hikori might want to ban it. And on the side of Beast Coast, they want to ban all the kind of go-in heroes. Both of these 2 heroes right now don't go in. They're waiting for the best opportunity to go in. He's waiting for the black hole. Shadow Fiend doesn't want to insta-BKB, so they need something that goes in, which is why the Pango gets banned.
Yeah, I like those support heroes that go in. I feel like Liquid have done a really good job so far showing like why those can be strong, like the Clockworks and the Tusks. But of course, you know, maybe finding that mid laner potentially here, depending on what they want to do with their Shadow Fiend, to do that instead.
I think Beast Coast might be aiming for their Shadow Fiend response on 15. A lot of teams have been picking Zeus. Just having a lot of damage to kill this hero. He feels very strong when he feels like he won't die. He's just standing there. You always have to deal with him. So if you can outrange him, Sniper as well was in the last chance a lot for Shadow Fiend. Still in the pool. So I would see some long range heroes probably come out for Beast Coast, which is again the Tiny sets up for it.
The other thing that we always have to think about in these best of ones is those cheese picks, those picks that can come out and just ruin your game. That's something to watch for. I haven't really seen anything banned out that sort of speaks to that yet, but it probably would come later in the draft.
I have been hearing tales of the Beast Coast Brood.
Tales.
Hubs recently, so maybe a Whisper Brood might be coming
There
out.
it is, and it's banned immediately.
I feel like, you know, Whisper also seeing all these off-lane silencers, and just like, you know, I was there. He's like, I made that.
Yeah, see, the Nyx is banned out. I wouldn't be surprised if they ban Clock and just they try to get all the melee heroes that go in out.
Yeah.
And the issue is the Tusk is still in the pool, which I think is a very strong hero right now. It's interesting as well. Beast Coast chose to pick 2 supports in the first phase.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, nice one.
They take it away.
Interesting. So banning out that Zeus first and then picking up the Clockwork. So that does reveal more about where this Tiny is going to go into at least a core role, most likely. But likewise, Clockwork has been one of the strongest supports, giving that vision. If you can get up towards an Aghanim Scepter, it's like map hacks for a little bit. It's absolutely insane.
So this is where Hikori kind of gets the choice. The Enigma has seen support play in some games. So right now it's kind of where they're going to choose. Are they going to pick 2 supports? Are they going to put the Enigma as a 5? They could pick a carry, but he doesn't see much. So this is kind of going to be showing all their cards. And the 23 pick is just going to be like the final, you know, we're going to win the game with this hero.
Curious what their responses to the Tiny as well. And so yeah, they will just grab the Tusk. Couldn't ban them all out, so pick one and leave the Tusk in instead.
I wouldn't be surprised if they just end up picking a position 5 here. Maybe like a snap. Something to just enable their heroes, another go-in support. I know that they have a Tusk, but you always need more.
Yeah,
you have these
it's always
ranged
nice.
cores.
Cookie out of the cogs as well. Always some helpful stuff to aid your teams.
There is still also that silencer that you're talking about from Beast Coast if they wanted to run that against the Enigma. Obviously, Enigma nowadays not just a black hole bot at this point, but there's a lot more utility there, whether you get a Wraith Pack or whatever the option is for them.
Yeah, Wraith Pack it's actually very important right now, I think, to try to pick a hero in a draft that can buy a Wraith Pack. And that's why a lot of the time the offlaners end up buying it. And when you see the supports try to buy it when they're losing it, it's kind of a struggle because you'll have like a Vlad's and you're hoping, you're like, come on, get the Wraith Pack. They've had Wraith Pack for 10 minutes. We really need the damage
The
reduction.
Philosopher's Stone drops, you're like, oh, there's a hope. Maybe we'll get it.
Ooh, that is a little bit of a different one, but
Bloodlust Shadow Fiend sounds awesome.
It's the same idea. It's another melee hero goes in, gives him a stun. A lot of the Shadow Fiend is one of the heroes where buffing him feels very good just to do in a general. That's why Marcy. So
Yeah,
good you give him
yeah,
the life
exactly
steal,
right.
so-
We lose her, so we get tag team and Bloodlust. It's, you know,
Yeah.
2 heroes to become Marcy, pretty much. It's almost equal.
Oh, not quite though. Still,
So it's kind of revealed a lot of the cards. They know the Shadow Fiend's mid or carry. They know Beast Coast probably going to take their carry. So they're going to pick PL to lane versus the Enigma. They see his whole lane, as well Tusk. It's a nice matchup. You don't get shards. You can always just doppel out.
That was the go-to for a very long time versus Tusk.
It's also relatively good versus Shadow Fiend, because again, Shadow Fiend doesn't like being poked. And you know, with the new shard and the Octarine core on PL, that he's been doing this build where he doesn't ever enter the fight. He's always just throwing Spirit Lances out. It's always nice to be able to play that style versus Shadow Fiend.
well, I will say, PL just as a hero, this event has not felt super good to me. Maybe it's just the games that I've been watching that have been going on here, but this hero always feels very frail. Does get to that point eventually where everything feels amazing if you can get it through the surviving the bursts and everything else, but very risky pick here for Beast Coast.
He's one of the few like hard carries. I think of this meta right now where he hits a very strong timing, but getting to that timing is pretty scary right now, especially with Shadow Fiend. This level 15 timing, you hit the tires. It's just kind of every game Shadow Fiend's pick, it's a Shadow Fiend game for both teams. They have to deal with the 15 push or they're playing for the 15 level push. So Beast Coast probably think that with their first 3 heroes that they have the ability to kind of stall the game out, play for this later game timing. They have a lot of stuns to catch. So I think they're trying to hope to survive this early game pressure.
Just need that last whisper here to try and find what that'll be, but they'll have a chance to see what Hokori want for their last pick here as well. Very likely the position 1, or the mid perhaps, depending on what they want to do with the Shadow Fiend. But some hero who may be in the safe lane, but is definitely going to be someone who's being a little bit active on the map, like give some space to the Shadow Fiend.
I think something like an Ember Spirit, even for the mid lane, would be really nice. They need a little thing to deal with the PL, because again, even though he doesn't get to late game, if he does get a heart, which isn't unrealistic, you do need something to deal with the illusions. So they banned the Pudge. I think that's a really nice ban. The Leshrac was also banned first phase. These are the very classic counters. If they want to go in the very opposite direction, I could see Naga's actually banned.
Oh, Puck is still in, actually.
Interesting. Lots of options, and I mean, like you guys are talking about, somebody that can kind of be active. It feels like for both of the teams in a way. I mean, I guess you can move around with Tusk and make some things happen, but you're not going to be like bringing your Shadow Fiend to the fight most likely.
Hokori's more looking for a Spirit-esque, even if it's into the safe lane, just something that can start the fight so your Tusk can follow up, your Ogre can follow up. Also, preferably something that is a body. Even though you have 2 melee supports, you need a body. And let's say to Beast Coast.
Oh, dude, the Puck is so tempting. Like, I get the ban. It's so tempting, though, because it's like, it's versus the PL, but it's also versus the Tiny, so it's like,
It's just a good hero, especially the later the pick.
I mean, it's the ultimate pub ruiner for the PL players. They just want to quit.
On the side of Beast Coast, they're more aiming for, I think, early game damage, which is why you see the Snap and the Viper ban. They have all these catch from Tiny Clock, but when you start to feel forced to bring your carry, it's a little scary.
And they just go Ember, Nice, very, very good.
Well, this is what Hokori have decided to go for in their best-of-1 elimination matchup. We'll see if it's going to be enough. Beast Coast on the clock now for their final pick. They have a lot of reserve time to work with. What is it that they really need, with the thought that Tiny could also still be a little bit flex if they wanted it?
Yeah, there's a couple directions. The Tiny could go offlane.
Oh, we get the Morph mid? Huh?
Morph or
Yeah.
It's a little questionable with the Phantom Lancer.
Got to be a really active Morph.
I could see maybe a Monkey King if they wanted to go that route of destroying a bit. But again, Monkey's not even the best versus these heroes. Enigma can cut his tree down. Shadow Fiend can just kind of outfight him in his arena.
Well, Ember used to have all those crazy counter picks like the Necrophos or like the Earthshaker, the Huskar. Like he's iconic of having these ones that really punish you in the mid lane, since you tend to seem sort of stuck there. But I guess in this situation, they could theoretically also move the SF, right?
I think if they're going to pick a mid, I would be surprised if it's Kunkka. I've seen that hero kind of dumpster Ember in a lot of the lanes this tournament. It gives them team fight. It lets them survive the black hole. Obviously, Tusk is a pretty nice hero. You can dodge a lot of X combos, but I think it kind of gives them what they need for Beast Coast in terms of damage.
Really spending the time going through it. Beast Coast talking it out amongst each other. And with 40 seconds left, I mean, this is those moments where it's like it can make or break your entire run, your entire year, it feels like. And it's all down to one last pick.
There's also just the Death Prophet, just some stable laner to go to the offlane. They can pick a range
safe
hero.
answer,
Yeah, it's kind of the safe answer. You just you have a Clockwork, pick a ranged hero, you'll go 50-50 in the lane.
Oh, Is this the hero with still 0%
No,
rate?
he's got one win.
He's gotten.
I'm pretty sure he has one win, right?
Last I pull that out on the last pick. Whisper believes in it, and Whisper, one of the best players, one of the best offlaners in the world right now. Everybody loves this guy. If he thinks it's a good Batrider game, what is he seeing here?
It's good versus Tusk. It's good versus Shadowfiend. The BKB disables are very good versus this hero. He probably also thinks the lane is going to be very favored. I've seen bad offlane have mixed success. I've seen some people still do the cutting from a long time ago where they get Firefly level 1, they go to the trees, get the cut level 1.
He's got a couple wins. It's single digits. But
How many wins, how many picks?
Well, I see OG had it in a win versus GG. Gladiators. RNG had a win over Sonics, and Entity had a win over Aster. And then there's a lot of in the L category. A few more. Perhaps double digits.
Well, an impressive last pick here. We'll see if it works out for them or not. But again, the inter-regional matchup going on here. Hikori facing off against Beast Coast. One of these teams is going home. Hikori picked them, said, we want to play against you in this elimination match. See if they got what it takes. So we get ready to go into game number 1, the only game for them.
Actually feels like such a betrayal. To fight your own region like this. And maybe it's not betrayal. Maybe it's just like guaranteeing that one of us makes it through, right? It was the friendly maneuver there as well.
It goes.
Someone's going to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. Very smart.
Well, as we head into this one, Beast Coast, see if they decide to smoke out, look for a first blood. Hikori already heading across the map. And the drawing is made. We'll see if it looks like they're set to run right into each other. Level 1 potential. We've seen some of those level 1 raises get some early kills here.
We got some on both sides. We got Shards, right? We got a little bit of Ogre just getting in there. We got Crystal Maiden.
Yeah, this is pretty scary. For, I think Beast Coast, the Dire jungle is really scary to walk into. There's so many of these high grounds that you just have 3 different hills looking at you, but they kind of just pass each other.
Yeah, they're looking for that safe lane right now on Beast Coast. Get a ward back behind the tower. We'll go for some courier snipes. And it looks like the battle might be up on the top side of the map. They did catch a quick little sight there. It looks like the PL. Yeah, I see Hector.
He's just checking the ward, but he doesn't know too much.
Yeah.
This could be scary for Hikori. They might drop their guard, assume everyone's in the bottom jungle, which is usually what the raiding teams do. They'll sit in their own jungle, hold hands, wait for the bounty together, get 2, walk away. So, you know, the Shadowfiend might walk up alone. Very last second.
We will see. And heading down to the rune spot, they will show C Smile. Pierre throws out a raise. They're on to 1, hits a second, in some trouble. The Shards pushes them to the side. Everybody getting hit. A really good avalanche from C Smile, and he gets a little bit of separation. The Clockwork, body blocking, finding the kill. First blood taken by Whisper.
Oh, C-Smile's still running.
He's still getting chased and will go down, yeah. Gardic also chased back behind the tower. 5 stacks, 6 stacks, and it will be enough. So, for nothing. Oh, well, that was close.
Well, Gojir also grabbing the bounty rune right there as well, and got the battery sold off too, so that looking great for Beast Coast.
Could be worse. Lumiere died at least, so we got the mana back from the raises. It's always rough when you fight the bounty runes, you lose a kill or 2, you don't have mana on the Shadow Fiend, but the lane's kind of reset. The bat is very high net worth though.
Yeah, if there's a way that you wanted to start off the game, it's, particularly with the Batrider, this hero's that's been so up and down, getting first blood helps a lot. As everybody heads off to their respective lanes, we'll also probably want to keep an eye on this bottom lane, how Vitali deals with K1. They just get everything denied out from him or not.
So the scary thing right now is Beast Coast, in their minds, they counterpick 2 lanes. They got to pick the PL into the Enigma, they got to pick the Bat into the Shadow Fiend. So the side lane should be, draft-wise, Beast Coast favored, but again, Hikori picks these heroes just because they're stable. You pick them, you always go even, you always have a good lane.
And then, like, on top of that as well, I feel like mirroring in terms of, like, the game plans, there's a lot of very similar things happening here. We have, like, Ember and Tiny. They have a similar idea and concept of how they want to play, but everything's just, like, a little bit faster on Hikori's side, if all things go even.
I mean, I'm seeing Shadowfiend right now with more last hits than the entire Beast Coast team for a second. That's a pretty good way to start the game for him.
Yeah, I actually think a lot of the, at least mid and top, are pretty good for Hikori. The Ember versus Tiny matchup's pretty nice for the Ember. The Tiny doesn't have any armor. The Shadow Fiend is generally just a good hero right now. The slow on the raises, especially with this Ogre stun, just lets him kind of build up at least 2 raises, if not 3 every time.
Of course, does need to be careful, like you said, with that Bat Rider. You can start stacking up that sticky napalm. That's when things can go south very quickly.
I'm also surprised to see what Whisper does with skill build. We've seen some Bats start experimenting with going for Flame Break early. I've seen some 4-2-0 skill builds on Bat where they don't even get Firefly.
Oh yeah.
I could see him doing it for Shadow Fiend because it makes it so he doesn't have to commit his hero. When you have to commit your hero on Shadow Fiend, that's when it gets a little sketchy or slow, and one of you is dying. So at least if you go Flame Break, you can be happy if neither of you die.
And then you have an Ogre just sitting there the entire time with a stick as well. So unless Gojira gets like the full lockdown, a very frustrating hero to try and deal with, going to cost you all your mana pool.
So you can see, at least at this early going, K1 getting a lot of his creeps denied out by the Enigma, as you would expect. While up here, they're able to do some pretty good zoning. Lumiere, the lane in a very nice spot, as they're just forced back and off the lane here. We'll see if they can maintain that equilibrium. As down bottom, Stinger caught in the shards and a couple quick punches. That's going to be the death of the CM.
That is the Crystal Maiden experience right there. Like, she throws out a Crystal Nova on the Eidolons, they start whittling them down, and PL just sees that one moment where she's too close to the trees, you're just dead. Like, PL's, you know, PL can get out, you can't.
Yeah, I think this PL pick isn't so much of a we're going to crush the lane with the hero. It's more, it's good versus Enigma in the game because you don't have to commit, and it's also, he'll survive the lane. And sometimes just surviving is enough.
Ooh, they don't get the bottom.
He didn't get it, no. Stinger comes in, throws out a Crystal Nova, not able to get the pass back in time.
Second mouse.
Clearly that was the issue, apparently.
There you go.
Something happened.
Oh, that's a classic. Well, does not get the bottle refilled. Mid lane, how's this looking to you right here?
It's pretty even. It's only 3 CS. The CS doesn't matter too much in the mid lane. Being up 200 gold or 100 gold is...
This sounds like mid laner propaganda. I was like, the CS doesn't matter, guys.
It's all about the XP, guys. He has 2 more denies in the Ember.
Exactly.
I would be surprised. Both of the only thing surprising actually is Analog is going for a 2-2-0 build right now. He has none in the Flame Guard, so he's already kind of gearing up to be this run-around hero.
Yeah, very mobile.
This Lumiere up top will get blocked in by Gojira. Battery Assault combo together with the now Flame Break on to guard it. Can they bring him down? A couple more punches. They won't go all the way. Yeah, he decides to die. So Whisper with the double kill.
That's really big. That's probably the first blood effect right there. It gives him mana, it gives him boots. He has so much more stats that he just can man up.
And now he's going to have Tranquils and Raindrop. Finish on that Bat Rider.
That is a great start for him. And what they need. 15-4 right now on that Shadow Fiend. See if they can keep this type of pressure on here. Because each time they've walked up to that lane top, it's been looking kind of rough for them. East Coast already off to a hot start.
Yeah, there's so much pressure in this game too, right? Just on the players themselves. It's a best-of-1 elimination. You don't want to go out and one at TI.
Yeah, that is actually something we haven't really talked about too much in terms of like the pacing that a game often takes when it gets these best-of-1s. You know, it's kind of the same thing as a game 3, occasionally TI for elimination, where the game will often stall out. Like those riskier moves aren't necessarily made, but in a matchup like this, where they know each other so well, they've played together a lot, and they both have this sort of, you know, slightly faster paced tempo, I would say. I don't know if we're going to get that. I feel like we might still be playing some pretty fast Dota.
You're saying the team with the black hole is going to win at some point.
That's usually what happens.
Let's see if it happens here again. And Arctic caught underneath those cogs, couple more punches, and he is dead. Whisper dominating. He saw what he liked early, called for the pick, and is running it.
I love the drums too right after, right? Keep that pressure up.
He can also go the bearing, which is really nice, but this is the scary part of Shadow Fiend. This hero, we see it a lot as he sits in his lane for 12 minutes, but now it looks like he's gonna get kicked out probably relatively soon, and he doesn't really want to jungle. He doesn't want to rotate to the enemy lane, so it's gonna be a little scary to try to find a game for Lumiere.
That was something you were just talking about back when watching that EG game that happened. They were up there and staying for a very long time. And if they can sort of elongate this laning stage and the Bat Rider keeps this type of momentum, things could start looking very scary indeed.
Yeah, there were no stacks here for Lumiere. Thankfully, he's able to make his own just in time. Kills one camp, going to stack up as well, so will start getting back on the board.
And see Smile caught in no man's land, slowed down Avalanche to try and get a little bit of separation, but in the end, with everybody walking forward, see Smile, he's going to go down.
It's a pretty big kill. This starts the Ember Ember, you know, snowball right now. You always get started with 1 kill, and I think a lot of this pressure is going to be on Analog to kind of step up, just because of how safe lane's going.
Yeah. But that Cog's pushback is really nice. That could have turned into something big with the haste and then also level 6 on Analog. And now, if he gets caught here, this could be really bad. Does not have a ton of mana. Gets pushed back, the flame break. They're bringing in people to try and help, but Stinger there as well. Gardic underneath the Cogs is dead again. But that does make sure that Ember can get out of there.
Beats his Ogre a little. He's in the situation where he wants to press Slight, but he has no mana. He doesn't want to stick because he's full health, but his stick is full. It just feels a little awkward. I think they might be feeling a little pressure right now. They probably want to start playing to the Enigma bot and try to pressure this tower, because if they don't kick the PL out, he's going to be comfortably sitting in a safe lane where the Shadow Fiend's already kicked out, and you kind of want to break up these lanes as fast as possible for Hikori.
Yeah, for now they're even, but if it stays this way, it's certainly going to be start moving in towards Hector's favor in this situation. So likely getting Theolokor on the move as well, right? Like trying to get up to that level 6 perhaps. Obviously Tusk is one of the heroes that thankfully can get a lot done before level 6, but does have a big up on the damage there.
Now we see Hector already has all his items queued for the next 20 minutes. He's got his Diffusal, Yasha, Heart. He knows what he wants. He's going to buy what he wants. And it's kind of what he needs this game. He just needs to be able to tank up at some point. The Tiny will go in at least in the early game, but he needs to be a strong hero on his own.
Well, Theolokor really wanted that bounty rune. He's not able to get it.
He denied out of there. Can't get it in time. And you can see these movements that keep on coming in. Clockwork being such a thorn in their side. Gardic just has to try and play bodyguard right now, but you know, if they bring the Batrider in tow, both of those heroes will die. So props to Hikori to be able to keep it this close with how well this Batrider lane is doing. And now Analog moving into position, finds him with the root, gets him inside. Spur making the move over, wants to try and play aggro here. The root, the lasso, they brought everybody. They take him down and now chase for more. That was not the thing that they were hoping to happen with that Invis rune. As the Ogre will burn, no neutral need deny, okay. That's a little something, but they will catch the Theolokor on the backside of this. The chase down continues, and a Pyrrhic victory. Oh, still trying to escape Theolokor, maybe? A possibility? Live it? Snowball? Staying alive a little bit longer, he's hoping, but eventually the bat burns all.
And all of this comes down to the Beast Coast offlane, I think. There's so much pressure right now. Lumiere can't go bot, he can't go mid. He's stuck in his jungle and the clock runs at him, so they keep constantly feeling pressured. We have to help our carry, we have to let him farm. They keep making these moves, and when you make moves to your losing lane, it puts a lot of pressure on your team, because now everyone feels they have to go because you're not strong enough in a 3v3.
That all started with them moving up to try and do that, to get their Lumiere, and instead he just like TP's mid. He's like, oh, disaster. I gotta go find something, and spending so much time just running around.
Thankfully on the other side, the Wraithback's almost done on the Enigma, so they will have a timing to actually kind of stop the damage, because Beast Coast doesn't have a Wraithback fire on their team. The Batrider's going for Drum's BKB, it looks like.
Oh, Gojira getting a little crazy here.
Dude, they're feeling it.
It is under 10 minutes right now, Gojira. Relax.
He's ready to dive.
Slow down.
Doesn't notice me, please. That's the call. Man, and you just look at those farm levels, and Whisper has completely taken over this game. He has been the one that Beast Coast fans recognize as just one of the keys to the engine that is this team.
Now, why does Batrider keep dropping all these games?
I don't know.
Get a little ahead of yourself, perhaps. You know, you're still.
That's a fair point.
Little disruptor-esque. Feels really good when you're ahead, but the second things start going the wrong way,
The biggest thing is a lot of people are picking physical damage right now, and if Bat can die in a BKB, he feels bad, because he wants to be able to walk in with BKB, feel invulnerable, lasso you, and then you just watch as your carry gets taken away and killed. And in this game, if he takes the Shadow Fiend, I don't really see much. They have to black hole him, and you're black holing the offlane.
Right. If PL can get to the point where he's strong enough, then that might not be an option anymore. We'll have to see. Not quite level 6 yet on Gojira, but continuing to keep the farm going for K1.
We can see the confidence of Hector. He's just going for the Yasha first. I think he knows how well his team is doing, and he doesn't really feel the need to be involved. So he's just not rushing the Diffusal. He's playing more, I'm going to play my game, I'm going to get my timings, and when I hit them, we're going to win. And I'm not going to worry about too much. And again, you just see Hikori. Theolokor just farming with his Shadow Fiend.
Yeah. It's and all those timings that you're hoping for with the Shadow Fiend lineup, thinking about like, you know, the initial tower pushes and then hanging towards that first Aegis, with everything being so far set back because of the deficit that they're at right now. It feels very, very good for Beast Coast.
He does have the Midas ready, so
there it is.
Okay,
up
all
for
right.
the late game.
Yep.
Midas into more attack speed afterwards. Fine. He's just trying to be big.
Blink Dagger's now finished for the Tiny. So this is kind of when the Beast Coast starts ramping up. The Bat has drums, the Tiny has Blink, the supports are hitting their level 6 timings, and I think this is going to be when they're looking to kind of close the map in on Hikori. And now, once the map closes in, only about one hero on their team can farm. And who do you pick? Do you want your Enigma to not be farmed? Do you want your Shadow Fiend to not be farmed? Your Ember always has to fight at this point.
Yeah, you're like passing out items like one by one. It's just like whoever really needs it next.
I think the other thing to consider here is if you're Hikori, you know that this timing is coming, but also, are you going to be able to deal with it? Analog gets pushed back. They're keeping a little bit of separation here as he stole that DD away from the Ember. Slowed down, still chasing. They're throwing out the Avalanche, trying to elongate this fight a little bit longer. Stinger up on the high ground, throwing out the CM ulti, not doing that much damage. And Gojira is just going to be the one that ends up going down. If this fight keeps going, they still have a lot left in the tank on Hikori. But Whisper moves in, and that stops the aggression.
Wraithback putting in work, helping out there, making sure nothing got turned around on them. Slowly advancing to the tower.
And he probably can't go to the tower. Even Hector's going to show up. Oh, he finished the diffuser, actually.
Okay.
There's a casual band of the Elven skin.
Okay.
Interesting.
Someone made the call. Someone saw the inventory. Like, yo, just slow down. We kind of need you.
I actually think Hector is kind of, I think when he plays Wraith King, he goes a casual Belts of Strength.
Yeah.
So, something about these items, the 6 agility, 6 strength.
Well, and what I was going to say is that in this type of a game too, Beast Coast has been here before many times in elimination matches on the international stage in front of a crowd. For Hikori, a lot of players that haven't had that type of experience, and I want to see how they react to that pressure. Can they deal with this sort of strong timing that's going to come out with Beast Coast?
You see the Beast Coast doing another back-to-back smoke, so they're going to look for maybe this Tusk. They're trying to find the Shadow Fiend, that's the big goal, but...
Yeah, and this is all while showing Bat up top, right?
Toss, see Smile, controlling, still has Snowball. Gets it out there. Vitali moves into position. See Smile, he's in pretty far. Still holding on to that black hole, but with Analog in the air, they don't even need it.
That was a really nice tumbler toy. Gets up the hill right before the Tiny catches him. I think it's a little forcing of the play. He feels a little bad that the Tusk survives, so he blinks on the high ground. And anytime you commit a little too far, especially versus the Ember and the Enigma, it's just so much damage when you know, provide them a body.
And I mean, Analog now sitting still with 2 more remnants as well as they pressure this tower, so very hard to grab. They only have to really watch for the Gojira angles, but he gets right in there instead.
Interrupts, nicely played. Connection for the kill, and Hikori, all of a sudden, they are looking at like a crisp team.
You know what those Clockworks want to do, right? If like you're approaching a tower, they want to find this like little angle in behind or from the side. Start off
That
a
one
nice
support.
fight. Yeah.
It's probably the Enigma that he's looking for.
Yep.
At this point, taking that mid tower, could this be the turn that we're waiting for from Hikori?
The Midas is working.
It's happening. We'll see if they can deal with it. You still have an incredibly farmed Batrider and PL though.
Yeah, but where is he?
He's in the jungle, man.
7 kills were a long time ago.
They're playing for their timing, so it looks like on Beast Coast, at least on the Whisper and Hector. He's going for the Diffusal Heart. It looks like that's probably his big timing. That's his GG timing.
Yeah.
Whisper, I think he just wants his BKB. He's probably just saying, let me get BKB. They don't have much. It forces a black hole pretty much every time he presses BKB.
Yeah, he's trying not to be like the other Batriders, right? He does not want to
He's trying
start
to
beating
win.
away his lead.
I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
so,
You know,
so.
doesn't want to be that big old pinata that you pop. You just start beating out of the sky.
That's fair. Well, they're bringing over the Maelstrom right now for Analog, so they have more avenues to sort of spam out against the push that will be coming their direction, or just the team fight that might happen. And the thing to watch for here is still that gold lead, less than 1,000 separating these two teams at 15 minutes in, but a very farmed dual core here.
Yeah, I think as Trent was saying, since these drafts are kind of similar in what they want to do, it's not too much about, you know, oh, we're up 1,000 gold, up 2,000 gold. It's who's hitting the timings, because they both want the same timings. Both these offlaners want their BKBs or blinks. Both the mids kind of want these items that let you fight the Maelstrom, the blink on the Tiny. So right now, I think this bad BKB, they're going to instantly smoke on the side of Beast Coast. They're going to look for these kills, and this is the Beast Coast timing. So now we're going to look for a big fight.
And you can tell like how passive it is for Hikori because he's also just running around with his haste rune. You know what I mean? Like they had haste rune, fresh Maelstrom, and he's just like, yeah, we got to farm. Like everyone else isn't ready, and they do get the 60-minute rune though, which is really nice.
They found him right away. Catch, Ava, toss, dead. Gardic trying to salvage something here, running in brazenly.
That's a juicy shards though.
Can they do this? Shards, block, Stinger there, control, a lot of damage. They do manage to take off that freezing field. Analog hoping to get something done. A double kill from Whisper with that BKB. But can they get out after? Will Analog keep chasing this? DD going. Connection onto C-Smile. Whisper still in the area. Vitaly has that black hole ready to go. Push back onto 2, and C-Smile in some trouble. Gojira's off to the side. They don't even need it still. Wait, maybe a turn? Okay, K1, he's decided to show up. A couple quick punches. Can they clean him up? It looks like they will. So another trade, 2 apiece.
They feel so strong. They're like, oh, we can't die. We can kill them. And it's not wrong, but sometimes when you chase a little too far, that's when the other team turns it around again. Hector even shows up, so Beast Coast 5 heroes together in 1 lane.
Yeah.
Corey loses 1. They can't be 5. Their Shadow Fiend died instantly.
And it wasn't too bad for Vitaly too, because he still gained like a decent amount of gold there at the end. So.
Take a look at the replay here. Just immediate jump, and they were ready.
Just straight up gone at that point too. And I mean, I like the TPs though, because they know that they can fight in these situations, right? Like that's a great situation for Analog. From the high ground, as an Ember with the DD and Rune, you can see he starts cutting through them like that, but they couldn't get Vitaly in quite at the start, and then he just ends up like walking after them because he was so close to his blink.
Yeah, you can see how Corey, they literally just want to hit their timing. That's all they need.
Yeah.
They need the BKB on the Shadow Fiend, I think, is their next big one. He's about 2,000 gold away, a little more. The Ember is also going for a BKB, but I don't know if they can wait for his. His is about 3,000. And Beast Coast that was their timings.
Right.
That was their BKB on bat. So you see how strong they are. They just walk up into the tri-camp or the duo camp, rather.
And in a way, it feels like, you know, you're building up this armor on Hikori, and before it's fully finished, they're just trying to kind of poke them in the eye a little bit and start slowing them down as much as possible. And they're kind of making it happen right now, you can see. But still, incredibly close game. We're going to have to watch if Beast Coast can keep hitting these timings, find a couple more pickoffs, and slow down Hikori a bit more.
And one of the cool things about Bat versus Tusk is actually if you're lassoed, you can't get snowballed by the Tusk.
True.
So if Theo, he's rushing the blink, he has it already. So if he tries to save on these lasso initiations, it'll do nothing.
Yeah,
this hero's guaranteed stun.
We got Lasso, we got Black Hole, the 2 things, and Chrono, the 3 things he can't pull you out of. So there you go.
Marcy can't fight her now. Her hands.
That's
are not,
right.
Her hands are not strong enough to get through.
To go through.
They were pretty magical before, apparently.
No longer. Smoke up. Hikori, they feel like they want to get going right now. Who are they going to run into? Illusions out first. Smoke does not break. Hikori going to run past it. It looks like Beast Coast are in position. Smoke
punch.
breaks now. They find him. Snowball follow-up, chase down, but the cogs, the pushback, interrupting Vitaly before the black hole comes down. Wraith Pack is there, but are they in too far now? Avatos from C-Smile can't get it off that black hole. It was not what they needed. Analog will manage to disengage, but they lose their Enigma and Gardic. He is likely to fall yet again. Chase down. Yeah, they got him. Beast Coast. They just read it perfectly.
That was really nice positioning from Hector. He kind of stopped believing in himself for half a second, but he was perfectly in the trees trying to break the smoke with this ward. And Hikori was really fast. They catch him before his doppel or anything, but it's not enough.
Yeah, it doesn't even feel like it's worth it. And plus you have the Force Staff backing up there from Gojira as well, too. So he just, you know, he feels very confident if you got in a forward position like that. Just needs that one little break in the action to survive here.
Unreal. And you can see, think about how different that would be if you just find that black hole on Hector. To be honest, they still might have been able to interrupt it pretty quickly afterwards. Vitaly's going to need to get that BKB.
Really nice cogs. Just stops pushes the Ember, pushes the Enigma, kind of breaks up the fight. Anytime the Clockwork gets like very directly in the middle and pushes heroes out, the fights kind of get scary.
Oh, Hikori had started to battle back and sort of take a little bit of control here. A slight lead, but now that has gone over the way of Beast Coast, and we're hitting 20 minutes now. Everyone's starting to think about that. Roche can do it pretty fast on the side of Hikori.
Now here's the Hikori timing, the BKB and Shadow Fiend. It's all about the timings in this game. Smoke up. They're going to look to Roche as well. They're going to move to top, try to get a kill into Roche. Hector, the exact same position now.
Moving in, Invis, but they see him. Stinger. Lots of TPs coming in. Whisper. He tried to get something onto the Tusk, but Stinger is already gone. Helio Core, they throw out the Requiem, trying to disengage with that Tusk. So support for support. Get
Blink
dead.
time, and he's thinking about it.
C-Smile won't jump for that one.
Bit too dangerous.
It's
kind of where it hurts you Black Hole in the last play.
Yeah.
Black Hole maybe catches Hector, maybe catches the bat. Like, it's not the worst. They get a Crystal Maiden, they trade 1 for 1. Anytime you trade kills and you're behind, you're always going to be happy. You're going to get more from them.
This is some best of 1 Dota.
It really is.
It's just like a little bit scrappy. Everything's a little bit off, you know? There's like that one bad Black Hole, and so it throws off that timing. Everyone's a little bit full of the nerves here. They know this is your one chance, but also it just means that you only need that one single game.
And I think you can also see everyone's kind of just gearing up for the late game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everyone's ready for some 40, 50-minute game where you just, at some point, you either win or lose.
Lumiere knew. That's why he bought the Midas.
Yeah.
It was the time.
Meanwhile, Whisper's looking at his Tranquils just like, ugh. You know?
It's a travel.
Yeah, I could have been a bat.
We'll see. As the game goes later, it can be very dangerous giving up the, obviously, Shadow Fiend and Enigma against that. So Beast Coast likely to try and make some action happen.
That flare just hit all of them. It's like full vision of what they're up to.
Delio Court comes in, steals away that DD, but then loses his life for it. Guard it. Chase. Hook shot onto Analog. Push back into the lasso. Catches him. K1 trying to bring him down. Slide of fist. Can he escape? No. Analog goes down. A perfect fight. And K1 just running in brazenly. Won't have to face any other retribution. Black Hole again, just coming back off cooldown now.
This is the timing we talked about. It's the heart on the PL.
Yep.
They're just going to kind of walk down lanes, walk at towers. They don't have the damage. This Ember, you pick him to deal with the PL, and then he has a bad game. You pick him to deal with the PL, he has a BKB. He doesn't really have the tools right now to deal with him, and there's too much HP.
Oh, God. All right. I can't even handle that. 4K gold lead right now for Beast Coast. And with Gojira queuing up that shard here very soon. And as you guys said, the part done. It's going to be time pretty soon for another salvo of aggression from Beast Coast with the top tier 1 tower taken and mid out of play. We'll either see if they want to go in towards Roche or just take a fight and take another tier 2.
Gojira plays a lot of Clockwork. I think this is one of his favorite heroes, and the way he uses the shard is really nice. It gives you so much vision. And I think for Sakori, all you need is vision. You need to know where the Enigma is for Black Hole. All you need to do is catch the Shadow Fiend once at the start of a fight. Even the Ember will just die to a lasso.
That's what we just saw, right? Like that one flare, just saw everything. They move in, they get the ward up on the high ground after that. It doesn't afterwards get dewarded by Hikori, but it doesn't matter. You want to fight with it, right?
Well, heading up to the top side of the map now is Beast Coast. They don't have their Tiny with them, but they can still make some plays. And Dire anticipating that this might be the move that they're making. Scanning that little Death Valley area over there. Who are they going to find? Analog can Remnant in onto Gojira if they want. Spot him at the beginning.
They have so many 4-steps though.
Alephus, see Smile, big avalanche. Where are they looking next? They're doing a disengage. Little poke, little prod, little runaway. It's the classic.
Same time, Hector is not going to show up to these.
No.
He's farming, he has Manta finished now. He's just going to keep hitting the timing after timing. And I think inside of Beast Coast, you pick this hero on, I think, 23, and you're feeling good.
That was a nice little illusion rune spawn for C-Smile. Could have taken a little bit more damage. Was likely going to be fine no matter what, but gets him out of trouble. And East Coast still feeling incredibly confident in this game. 4 staff done.
They pushed them all downward. They watched them all run to that part of the map. They're all sitting around the rush pit right now, but not exactly the easiest thing for Beast Coast to take.
Yeah, thankfully for Hikori, PL's not the best rush killer. Tiny and Bat also don't really do it, so the objectives they're more going to force are either going to be taking jungles away from Hikori or just hitting the towers. And you don't even feel bad if you're not doing that because you're able to play your own game. It only feels bad if Hikori is actually able to make moves and catch heroes and be the aggressive ones, but every time they do something aggressive, it kind of gets countered by Beast Coast.
That ward there placed in a really sneaky spot by Beast Coast, scouting all these movements right below this one. And so both teams with a lot of vision.
With another flare too.
Yeah.
And just kind of harassing them.
Yeah, this is seeing everything though. All these moves, and yeah, they realize, okay, there's something going on. They'll get the D ward. So a little bit better vision in the area now for Hikori as they continue to posture around this area. But as you said, every minute that this continues without an objective being taken, we're seeing this lead grow by Beast Coast. You've got the Tiny on the bottom side of the map farming, and they are continuing to just outmaneuver them a little bit.
They need that fight where Analog just goes off. You know, he gets to play Ember. Feels like he can't be caught, but like that's gonna be hard, even with the BKB now. Just because he still has to contend with his hook shot into bat potential play here, and you know, if he gets lassoed, the big save is pretty much Vitali, but he's still not into that BKB. You know, you're not going to be getting a snowball save, obviously, as we mentioned before. So you got to watch for some like great counter initiation play.
Gardic, right up close, has that Invis rune, but there is a sentry in the area which is going to now get taken out by the Eidolons. Dude, everything is so tense right now. You could tell these teams on a knife's edge.
We have seen a lot of Enigma right now. And this year has won a lot of games by himself.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes he's just the carry. You pick Enigma, he's the carry of your team, and this game, he might have to be that player. He might have to carry his team just because I don't know if the Shadow Fiend is going to be able to mana first the PL.
I just see him jumping for a black hole, missing from the double force staffs.
It could be scary.
I'm watching the future.
All right. Analog trying to burn through some of these illusions. Roche at about 2/3 health now. As Whisper still playing around with it. They have great vision from this clockwork.
The Roche dance now begins. They're going to try to Roche, but it's always scary. You get it to low health. Now Hikori is going to counter fight you. It looks like Beast Coast is just going to try to force this fight here. And it's up to Hikori whether they want to go or not.
Since the illusion in first, we're still a little ways away from BKB Black Hole. But they're scouting. They have the shards down. Got to be careful. Force staff #1, keeping him alive. Lumiere thinking about walking in. Good flame break, pushback control. SF going to pop that BKB. They got to get something out of this. And it's over on the other side. Heliocore controlling and trying to take down Whisper. He's fine. He's out of there. But now no BKB SF.
Really nice. Whisper got gone on. He didn't press his BKB. He just held it, and he gets out. I think that kind of secures the Roche for Beast Coast now. Hikori, they can't fight without Shadow Fiend BKB.
No, Vitali got forced back as well. Had to like blink out of there, so unable to find a counter initiation play, and just needs to power up his own BKB so he can try and get involved here. But Aegis now coming down, and man, Hector is a problem. This guy, after that heart, has been just buying some ultimate orbs, juicing up his hero a little bit, adding some stats, some steroids, and now gets an Aegis to boot.
I want to see how much damage he's taken later on, because I feel like he has not been touched this game at all. Just left completely alone.
300 damage?
Yeah.
At the laning stage?
Yeah.
Honestly. You give a game like that to a player like that, it's a problem. Whisper, they find him. Do they have enough to bring him down, though? Cogs, no. BKB is out, and instead, he might just turn and kill off Gojira. We'll see. Oh, remnanting around a little bit awkward there. Is he going to die? No. Gets away. Analog just barely able to escape from that one.
Oh, the instant smoke up as well. They just want to run in and take this territory now, saying they can't fight us. Let's go get some wards down.
It was intentional. It was confidence.
That's right.
That's right.
You wanted to show him.
Waste a little time.
No BKB now for the Ember, too, which is another thing to give Beast Coast that little bit of flavor at this point. As 4 minutes left on the Aegis, they're doing the cross-map rotation. Won't go for that courier snipe, and instead wanting to follow it.
Just gonna dodge, right? Try and lose as little as possible to this Aegis and get the BKB on Enigma.
They're literally following the courier. It brings them right to Heliocore. And we'll see if they can bring him down here. The chase is out, but actually they find Vitali. The Enigma goes down to Whisper as the Tusk will get the blink out.
Oh, Gojira. Oh, he's so good. He's actually so good on the clock. Okay, so here's what happened. So they run into Heliocore, and he's like, okay, well, we might want Tusk, but I'm going to go make sure that we get the Enigma kill, right?
Yeah.
So he runs over, make sure Vitali dies, and then he's in between the two.
K1 turns, Lumiere down low, still trying to pay him. He gets the punches off the BKB, out and away. Can he dodge through the trees? Might be able to. No! Hector chases him down, and now Gardic on top gives him the tip. Just like that, Hikori lose everybody across the map in the space of 2 minutes.
That's the PL special right there, you know.
It's not even... He's Aegis. Even if you win that match fight, there's not much.
Well, Hikori maybe feeling the nerves here in this best of one. 9K up, and Beast Coast still with Aegis in hands for the PL. They're going to pressure for this tier 2 tower. What is the response? I mean, it still feels like it has to be that BKB Black Hole once Aegis is down.
It's been waiting for so long as well. Just like trying to get this recipe done.
It's all on the Enigma at this point.
Smile. They find another. Theliocor body dropping. And everybody else needs to just run away because this is a heck of a gang squad he got with this Bat Rider.
And you can see Gojira, he knows Black Hole is the way for them to win the game. So he's buying a Blink Dagger next. So he can always blink, always hook drop the Black Hole. So your kind of situations to win the game are kind of getting limited with every single item that Beast Coast gets.
Whoa, and look at this. Tier 3 tower. Hector, he's saying, I was ready to go. K1 takes down that Tier 3 tower, and oh, look at it. Chase jumps in, doppelgangers forward onto this ogre. They do find the real one, but I don't know if they have enough to deal with them at all. He's still got the Aegis afterwards. The rest of his team is off on the other side and just keeps this chase going, taking down building after building, and Beast Coast wanting to remain the dominant team here. They have faced him so many spots and been able to take down the Hikori lineup. Wanting to make it happen just one more time again.
This is actually absurd, like how far all his allies are, but just, there's nothing they can do, right?
Yeah.
Just look at that HP pool.
Scotty's finished. Bachelor's going to come out soon.
Keep chasing. Building after building falling. They have to deal with this guy.
All right, it's there. The smoke is ready.
KB.
Oh, the illusion's on him.
But it's difficult.
He's got no blink for 12 seconds.
You don't want to black hole this. There's an Aegis.
Yeah.
They need to wait another minute.
We got a minute. You know? He needs a lot of prep time, okay? He's got to go all the way around.
They have 3 sets of racks.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a minute of time.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just not stopping. There's no reason to stop. Hector will not be denied another set of racks going down, and they still have 45 seconds left. I mean, they have to get something out of this. Hikori looking for an answer. Vitali in the back. He's smoked. They need to kill him before they drop that black hole. Hector, defusal onto Analog. They just can't touch him. No damage on this PL at all. See Smile spamming the notice me. We'll see if they stick around for the third set, but if they want, they can just back here. Brilliant play from Beast Coast as they are closing this one out in style.
The spacing, the angles they have covered as well between their backline heroes.
This is the PL, I think. Just the PL pick by itself is good for Shadowfiend, good versus Enigma. It feels so hard to find the real one, and when you only have limited amount of spells.
Yeah, and so much of what they did in the laning stage too, just like bringing this all together for them as well, making sure that they ruined Lumiere's game, forcing him into this Midas, forcing him to the jungle, and slowing down the initial timing of that Roche. Because I mean, we saw when even they were like well ahead, Beast Coast still couldn't Roche, right? And that could have been such a great path for Hikori in this match.
They do know that Aegis is down now, so Hikori ready to smoke out and move across the map. But there is another creep wave that's going to be coming in bottom, and it just looks like Beast Coast are ready. They know this is the only path that they can take. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough for them. Drop down the ward, CM in place.
Sees that fresh ward just runs. Yeah. You see that little timer, and it's like full. You're just like, oh, I'm out of here.
Everyone, both teams know right now that Beast Coast wins with next Aegis. You can't black hole him 2 times. You don't have refresher. So both sides are going to only care about Roshan right now. And for Beast Coast, they can even sit in their fountain and chill 3 minutes, wait for Roche. Once it's up, take it, win the game. But Hikori's always stressed. They're like, are they Roshing? Are they holding our jungle? Where are they doing? Are they jumping us in our base? And
where are these clockwork flares coming from?
Right.
Calculating the angle where they flew from.
A little bit of trigonometry happening there, trying to figure out what's happening, what's going on.
Does have the blink with the 4-step, so even Gojira's ready.
You see him smiling and laughing.
Yeah, they're feeling good. And why not? East Coast, they do not like these best of ones, I don't believe. None of the players do, but it's one of those moments where it's so much tension on the line and feeling like they've got this one potentially in the bag. We'll see if that's true or not, though, because this next Roche fight is going to be where so much of this is decided, if Hikori can make any type of a comeback happen.
I think C-Smile's choice. He was originally going to go Ags after his Blink Echo, but he goes back for BKB and AC, it looks like. So I think he kind of realized that Hector is going to just 1v5. All he has to do is be a body, buff up his boy.
Yeah, if you miss the tree volley, it feels pretty bad.
Yeah, and so he's just buying items for his team.
Make it safe.
Well, K1 going in without the Aegis. A little bit of a bold choice here. Again, the danger. Oh my god, Gojira's way back there, though. He's ready for the backline jump. Analog, not there. And the lasso. They find and kill Theliocor.
He has buyback.
Lumiere, they need it. They have it. Have everybody. I mean, even without the Aegis, they're right on top of him. Cogs pushback on the battalion. They're like, wait, there's a clockwork over here. And in the meantime, he jetpacks away from him. Hector keeps sending these illusions in one by one. Hikori.
The smoke is there again.
They got to find an answer. Theliocor again scouted. The smoke breaks. Ava toss. Connection. Gardic throws out a stun. Good punches from Lumiere. Can they bring down the Tiny? They will. C-Smile dies. Analog jumps in. Tries to find a couple more. Lumiere looking, hunting. They want to find that PL, but it's not an easy ask to get it. Oh, no. My God. Homie, that was an illusion. Oh, jeez. Oh, God, that's not how it's supposed to go. Hector, he's shown up now. They have everything on top of him. K1 chase down Abyssal Blade there. And Beast Coast, they're just too strong. So they run on through. 19K gold lead, one last Rax, and GG is called. Beast Coast take the best of one and are going to eliminate Hikori.
Sending home their friends in the same region, but also their rivals, of course. Hikori team has been doing so well lately, really impressing everyone. But Beast Coast say, you know, we were known as the gatekeepers once for region. You want to come and challenge us in Singapore? We'll do it again. Thunder, we're coming for you too.
They're doing it, man. Impressive showing from Beast Coast. Hikori, in the group stage, they made such a huge name for themselves. I think they impressed so many people, and their journey will end here, but I'm sure that they've gained a lot of fans around the world. Gunnar, looking at this Beast Coast draft and the way that they've been able to handle things, what are you sort of looking at? What's the key dynamic that this team brings to the table, and what are EG going to have to look out for?
I think the Whisper. Whisper's always their player. Every time they kind of show up, it's always this guy, crushes his lane, runs around, kills everyone. He had 7 kills, I think, in 10 minutes. With Bat Rider.
Right.
Such a low win rate. He just comes in, elimination. Guys, if we're going to be eliminated, I'm going to be eliminated playing Bat.
Well, it's poetic, right? I mean, East Coast, you know, they've been saying rumors, whispers. You know, they brought EG to TI. Now they're going to send them home.
Well, we'll see if that's indeed going to happen as we head on back to the studio and let break down the action.
Thank you very much, Lyrical, Gunnar, and Trent. And yeah, one of the storylines that we really have to highlight was Bat Rider, Whisper, and of course Beast Coast winning. But that, you know, it's signature for them. But this tournament, it hasn't, you know, you were mentioning in our break, T-Gov, you know, it just hasn't been picked up.
No, yeah, this is a scenario where stats actually do lie. At TI, it's 18 games played, 16.6% win rate. It is a terrible hero so far at TI. And then on the side lanes, 0% win rate. It's like non-existent. Whisper then gets it, pick 24, wins it. Like 0% win rate here in the side lane in a best of one, crushes the game, unlocks all the farm for his PL. Yeah, this was a masterclass.
Yeah, but what was the difference? The difference was actually getting picked that last, right?
Yeah.
Like that late into the game. Usually he gets picked up earlier and gets countered, pretty much just gets destroyed.